I am a fool. I am absolute buffoon, and I have played myself. You might be wondering, hey, what's going on? Completely forgot my anniversary. Yeah, yeah, it was supposed to be Wednesday this week. I completely forgot. For some reason, I thought it was next month, which obviously extremely incorrect. Uh, I guess we'll have to make up for it next week on Thursday potentially. It was not on purpose. It was not on purpose, I promise. Oh man, that happens. I guess that happens sometimes. To be fair, I won't be honest. June 10th is a strange date. Maybe some people disagree with me, but I don't think it's a weird date. I think it's normal for me to miss it. Not on purpose. Once again, I will say not on purpose. I will also admit that I've been completely out of it for the past couple of days. I've been. There's a heat wave, so there you have it. Not the greatest. I've also been in a strange mood. Doesn't have anything to do with the weather. So I don't know what's going on. Of course, we have stuff for today, but I've been thinking about the stuff for next week. I have no idea, man. I have no clue still what to do. I still have later today and early tomorrow to decide, but and it's looking, it's looking, it's looking like something. I don't know exactly what, but it's looking like something. Uh, I will also say that I've been trying to fix stuff. I ended up cleaning a bunch of stuff in the hard drives yesterday. For some reason, my zip drive was about to completely collapse and eat me. Because for some reason, my video editing software was saving huge chunks of cache data. We're talking about 80 gigabytes. That's a lot. So if we're a little bit lucky, we may see less choking in general, which is probably nice. I also move around a bunch of bot stuff to eventually transform into shorts, which is great. I've been also making more shorts, short or slash clip channel soon. I promise. I will probably announce it during the anniversary because, of course, we can. So that's nice. I'm seeing a lot of strange stuff going around with YouTube slash Google and a little bit of Twitch, which is not great. But I guess we'll cover some of it today. At least the Google stuff. They're back to their insane shenanigans. There's nothing really you can do. I've seen a lot of people complain about this on Twitter too, so there's not a lot that you can fix. So yay! You had to use a flailing, if not failing, website. Nice. Pretty good, pretty nice. You just love it. You just love to see it. It's so good. It's so useful. Pisses me off to no end. Gonna be honest, pisses me off to no end, but what do you want to do? Do you want to do something useful? Of course you do, but you can't. That's the nature of the beast. I've been also trying to work on model stuff. It's not working. What I'm trying to do, it's not working. Spoiler alert, we're not gonna have new outfit for anniversary like other times. I'm sorry. I'm quite content with what I have right now. But I mentioned before that I want to add more toggles for some stuff. There's one in particular that's being very difficult to do. Let me know, I actually don't know anything about Unity. So maybe that's also why. I've been trying to use Croc to help me. And I would say, hey, Croc has been very useful, but it didn't work. So I don't know if it's actually being useful or not. Let me know, I'm trying. I'm trying my best. I still have some days. I will keep trying. after stream for sure. It's something I want to have as a toggle. It's nothing insane, but it's something it's actually kind of difficult for me, and that'd be cool. Something I would like to show also on anniversary. I guess we're running a week late this year. Whoops. It's okay. And yeah, I think that's been pretty much it. I haven't been playing anything. I finished the road achievements for Boost Fury. Didn't take too long, thankfully. The the second save with the no stats for Goku and Vegeta was kind of wild. I didn't have the, how do they call it, the sense of being glitch. You can only do it in the beginning, and I completely missed it. Yay for me. But if you grind these same sets, they're actually really usable, despite having no level up stats. It also helps they were level 200, so they had pretty decent HP. Still, Kid Buu was a little bit annoying, because he kept summoning the clone, which is not great, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. It's not a huge deal. I ended up managing, which is nice. I think we're gonna take a little bit of a break for achievement grinding for a little bit. We'll see. We'll see. I've been, as I mentioned, kinda out of it completely. I don't know why, but I'm gonna be honest. I don't like all games, but I'm not really in my best game right now. I know exactly why, but it's being a little bit rough. We might do something short. I know I mentioned before a Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets for the Game Boy Color, which is pretty neat RPG. I think it's pretty nice. I played it before many times. Not really that long, not really that difficult. It could be a bit of a challenge if you don't know what you're doing. I think I know what I'm doing. Doing an achievement run for that should be okay, I think. Let me look up here the thing. Game Maker, what do we have here? Admissibles, not terrible. Like 8 hours to beat the game and 14 and a half to master it. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. We can attempt this. There's some very strange things about this game. It can break a little bit in some weird ways, which I think is kind of funny. But we'll see about that. We'll see about that. I probably should come up with some sort of one-off for Wednesday. I still need to think a little bit about it, but we're probably going to chill. We probably just want to chill a little bit. Probably want to have a little bit of cool vibrations without the Eurobit part, which is a bit sad, but you know how YouTube is, right? Don't want to get banned and all that. Now, I would say sometimes we fly maybe a little bit too close to the sun. It's probably okay. Speaking of which, why don't we get into the thing for today? I'm gonna grab some music. I know this is a new compilation, but I couldn't resist it, right? A playlist Pokemon chill music to kick off summer underwater. Ah, jeez, I wish that was me. It's a really nice anime tile in the middle of the water. It looks really nice. I don't want to take baths, but it can be pretty nice for sure. So I guess some people might be thinking, wow, farewell mostly peaceful. Is this about the heat wave? No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Well, I guess in a sense, it could be about a heat wave, but a different type of heat wave for sure. So let's start with pretty spicy stuff, shall we? I sometimes wonder if I should do more news stuff in the middle of the week, because recently a lot of stuff has been happening left and right. It's been pretty crazy. So this we have covered partially, but yeah, it's developing fast and furiously. So of course we have updates. Carmelo Anthony, 35 years in jail. I'm gonna be honest. Some people are mad at this because it's not enough. I would say it's not enough. Such an insane murder is 35 years. Very insane, insanely low. I've seen some of the people with clearly lower crimes getting 40 years of jail, which, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, but who am I to judge? But at the same time, it's really more than most of us were expecting. So I guess there's some sort of balance there. I don't know. Some people are saying, well, yeah, the guy has parole when he finished half of the sentence, which would be 17.5 years, which was Arsenal Cav's age. Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. The problem is not the age of the guy. It's all of the life he had to live still. I haven't seen some clips that I don't have them up, so we might need to look them if need be. With the father just going off, it's been pretty wild, and I understand what he says. Don't make everything about race. Sure, but as they say, no good deed goes unpunished. But he's being pretty rough about the whole situation, and look, this guy killed his 17-year-old. I think it's justified. Let us read. And there's a teenager accused of fatally stabbing one of his peers at the high school athletics event in the Dallas area, was found guilty by a jury on Thursday. The warning here is a little bit strange. Sure, it's in a technicality one of his peers. They were not in the same school. Just to make that clarification. The racially polarizing trial, which, yes, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think this individual here, Carmelo Anthony, killed Austin because he was a white guy. But there's a lot of race conflict around it, which is not really helping anybody, I'm gonna be honest. The racially polarizing trial of Carmelo Anthony over the April 2025 death of Austin Metcalf drew national attention, sparking a debate about the self-defense and school safety. Defense with the C, I mean, it's the BBC, so it kinda makes sense, but throws me off every single time. And school safety, both were 17 at the time of the incident. I haven't read this. I know it's kind of a long article, so I'm assuming it's gonna give us a lot of information, but sparking a debate about self-defense is being extremely kind. If somebody pushes you, and you know this kid was not thrown to the ground. It's just the usual teenager push, right? The kind of stuff that might have started a fight, not a murder. This man, I mean, he's 19 now, it's the US, 21 is to be an adult. This guy was not being assaulted. This guy was not being ganged upon. He was told to leave because he was in the wrong tent. Which, okay, whatever. The guy was being, look, I don't know where I need to go or something like that, or it's raining heavily. I don't know if that was the case, but you could bring pretty obvious excuses that are actually true. But no, that's me and see what happens. Somebody touches you and you kill them? Yeah, don't think you wanna be that guy. That's not really self-defense, I'm gonna be honest. Prosecutors argued that Anthony threatened Metcalf before he intentionally killed him, while defense lawyers argued that Anthony was acting in self-defense. Okay, sure, that's actually correct. That's what the defense lawyers were going for. At some point, the defense lawyer, which the whole situation with the defense has been hilarious. Carmelo didn't testify, so why you not testify when you're being tried by murder? It's a little bit strange. Nothing. I don't think there was any witness that said that, yeah, this guy was being ganged upon and whatnot. Some tried, and there was some video. Obviously, the prosecutors were like, okay, but how would you know? You were giving them back. You couldn't see it. It's a little bit weird. But the cherry on top of this whole situation is that we know the Anthony family had the GoFundMe and they got more than 600,000 USD, which is a lot of money. But they did not invest that money into a lawyer. Apparently they moved to a different location. Oh, okay, alright. That could be understandable. Apparently the mother had a nose job, which is a little bit weird. So they weren't just with the lowest possible defense lawyer. Yeah, you're not going to win. Why are you surprised? You can have an actual decent lawyer, but you didn't. Okay, alright, sure thing. Anthony was sentenced to 35 years in prison. They're also mentioning that Carmelo Anthony is just a poor little kid, he has no money, so... And they need a retrial because it was really unfair. And, of course, people are mentioning, okay, but... He had massive support, despite being you the guy that stabbed the other kid. Where's that money? Look, I'm not sorry for this guy. I can't be sorry for this man. The men were at the secondary school track meet when the incident happened. After that was the result of the dispute that escalated between the two rival secondary schools, according to police reports. I guess escalated's not wrong. Look, if they just got into a fight, it would be different. But that didn't happen, okay? There's no balance in the response. Then testified at the trial about the heated exchange between the two. Describing a rainy day in which Anthony refused to leave a tent that belonged to Metcalf's team. Some people are trying to compare these to Rosa Parks? Why? It's not, this is why this tent. No, you're on different teams, you should go to your team's tent. That's nothing insane to say. And maybe the kids in Austin's stand were a little bit too belligerent. But we don't really know exactly what happened because I don't know if there's a video of it, so it's really difficult to know, right? Because it could be, as I said, a situation of I don't know where to go. Well, they would indicate there's another stand there with your schoolmates. I don't think this was Carmelo Anthony making a mistake in getting to the wrong tent. If that was the case, why was he with his backpack, with his hand in his backpack, reaching for the knife? I'm gonna be honest, I don't see the plausible deniability here. Instead of testifying at the trial about the heated exchange between the two, describing a rainy day, okay, we read that. Though Anthony was 17 at the time of the murder on April 2nd, 2025, under Texas law he was able to be charged as an adult. Okay, I've seen this mentioned before, and since this was on the BBC, I had to take it as fact. I don't think the BBC would lie about something like this. So if he was charged as an adult, death penalty was actually in the table. Because you cannot put kids to death penalty. Okay, but if you're being trialed as an adult, that means that the penalties can be also the same ones as adults. So yes, 35 years is a joke in this situation. As I mentioned before, but you know, this penalty, I don't know about that, I don't know about this. Sure, I understand why people worry too much about... I wouldn't say it's worrying too much, but I do understand why people worry about the death penalty. Well, what if you get the wrong guy and then they're dead? It happened before, and it shouldn't happen. I think this case is pretty cookie cutter. I would also say that some people that just keep getting free and just killing indiscriminately, yeah, I think the death penalty is probably fair in those cases. Life sentence. Life sentence, work the kid to the bone. And that's it. And that's it. Some people say, but that's slavery. I'm not saying that's because the kid is black. It's because the kid is a criminal. It's not the same. It's not the same. The death penalty was not considered as Anthony was a minor at the time of Metcalf's death. I don't think it should matter if you're being trialed as an adult. I think this is a really strange contradiction. Then again, law is usually really strange anyway. Throughout the trial, prosecutors called nearly 2 dozen witnesses, concentrating their evidence on eyewitness testimonies, which... normal stuff. One of the most emotional testimonies came from Collin County Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Elizabeth Ventura. I mean, you can be a doctor, but... I want to say, it's a woman. Such a situation, what do you do? You're... I'm assuming in this case... County Chief Medical Examiner. It probably has to do mostly with the school staff. You would expect the usual sport injuries, falls and whatnot. You don't want to see a stabbing. You never want to see a stabbing, no matter who it is. And if it's a 17-year-old, yeah, especially when you have to describe a large gaping wound in Metcalf's chest and said the knife had pierced his heart. It is rough. It is pretty rough. You're not a... how are they called? A combat medic. No, it's not something you want to say. Prosecution stunned witnesses described Anthony as the aggressor, which, I mean, yeah, as it is pretty obvious. Defense also called multiple witnesses, including students and track coach Ethan Linwood, who said Anthony had been nominated for the role of team captain. That's really stupid. That's really fucking stupid, dude. Look, Anthony, Camille Anthony, I'm not saying anything about his skills as a sports guy, as an athlete. If he had been nominated for the role of team captain, he was probably pretty good. What a stupid way of fucking your entire life by killing another kid. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? We know why. There's this strange culture of you had to be the biggest guy. You cannot take shit from anybody, especially not from Whitey. Why are you doing that? Why are you fucking your life over? It's so stupid. You didn't have to kill anybody. It was not actual self-defense. And now you're fucked. And the other kid is also fucked. Congratulations. Congratulations. This kind of reminds me, which I know. Oh, but it's just fiction. Sure, it's just fiction. But it kind of shows an obvious problem in the US. Have you seen Die Hard 3? I have seen it many times. The one with Sam Jackson. And sure, Sam Jackson's character, Zeus, I don't remember his last name, I don't know if it's even said, is... I would say it's obviously a racist. I think he's obviously a racist. I think he's clearly racist against white people. But he clearly understands the problems in black communities. I had to go around... as he says to the kids, you have to go to school, you have to learn, you have to get skills, and you have to be successful. That's the only way to prosper. That is true. It doesn't matter if you're black or white, obviously. If you're in a location which is probably not nice, like a ghetto place, yeah, it's gonna be potentially more difficult. But acting like a thug is not gonna help you, and it's certainly not gonna help the quote-unquote black community, because that only increases racism. More on that in a little bit. And this is kind of the same. This guy could be a pretty good athlete. But no, now you're gonna be known as the fucking idiot that killed the kid because you couldn't go to your fucking tent. It's so tiresome. It's so tiresome. Anthony did well in school, with near perfect grades gave him a 4.0 grade point average, GPA. According to Dub's Area NBC News affiliate. I mean, he comes from a somewhat wealthy family. I'm not gonna say, oh, they're high class. They were clearly middle to middle upper class. They were not living in a bad place. It was not a ghetto. Why did you have to throw your life away like this, man? The young man did not attend the same school and handled prayer connection and prosecutor cell. Okay, that is also true, we know that. Anthony did not testify in the trial, but his mother took the stand with the sentencing portion and said her son was sorry and she asked for mercy. He was sorry. Well, it's a little bit too late for that, isn't it? And Thursday, the Texas jury reached a guilty verdict in less than 3 hours. And to reach that, you know, the case is very clear. You don't really see lobby this fast unless it's pretty obvious. The judge had allowed them to consider less charges of manslaughter, which would have carried a shorter sentence of up to 20 years in prison. But they did not choose it. Yeah, this would be complete injustice. The tragedy flooded social media, with some making the case about race. Anthony's black and McCaffrey was white, but lawyers for both sides told the jury the killing was not about race. It is insane. It is insane that they're trying to make this about race, about racism on top of that. Because this is the problem with white supremacy. Okay, so a black kid kills a white kid, and that's because of white supremacy. I don't see the white supremacy is working here. I'm gonna be honest. I don't see the positive. The same as the feminist saying, do you see the male problems? It's because of the patriarchy too. Well, if the patriarchy doesn't help the guys, I don't think it's that useful, is it? And the third organization is Generation Action Network, which had advocated for Anthony, noted that no one juror was black. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter. You're trying to make this about race, and as we've read last week, the potential jurors that were black, yeah, they were not allowed because they were the kind of people that were saying, okay, but yeah, I cannot put E brother in jail, but it doesn't matter if he's black or white. You should be looking at the facts, which we know it's very difficult nowadays. Not only that, there's some narrative going around trying to say, oh, the entire jury was white. It was not. It was not just white. There were a couple of Asians. One of them was Indian, I think. There was a Hispanic guy. It was not just white people, despite what they might be saying. But then again, for some of these people, if somebody is not black, they're clearly white, so I don't know about that. Our community has carried the weight of this tragedy for more than a year, and our thoughts remain with the impacted families, friends, and classmates. The Frisco School District said in a statement of the verdict what they're gonna say. They can't really say anything else. We respect the judicial process and will continue to support our students with compassion and care. We know this trial has brought strong emotions and grief, and we ask our community to continue to support each other with respect, sensitivity, and understanding, which, I mean, PR speak, what are they supposed to say? Sure, I get it. However, you might be thinking, okay, I bet the response from people has been pretty normal and pretty tame. Well, do I have news for you? There's a compilation made by Sean Health. As well, what trial this wasn't even like a cop kills black guy thing, where there might be some debate about the police, or whatever, which we've seen some cases. Then you see the body cams and you're like, oh, well, I don't know about that. It's just straight up a black kid stabbed a white kid, and they're losing their minds that he's going to prison for murder. Fascinating. You have here Cam Fullen, which is apparently an ex-board member of some sort of education staff in the district. Fuck it. They got him at Cafe App and stabbed his ass again. 4.9 thousand likes and hearts on Facebook. Yeah, that seems good. That seems well balanced. Yeah, seems like the kind of shit you want to see from education people. Stop sending your kids to these white schools. You know what? I'm not going to disagree, but for a different reason. Black people, please carry more than a pocket knife. Get arrested before they can get you. Austin was not even armed. What are you saying? 25 years in your first offense or sentencing. Yeah, there has to be a retrial. This blatant injustice. I've seen this excuse being thrown around. But it was his first crime. But you have to understand that the first offense, it's too much. Don't you people make mistakes? Sure, I have made mistakes. I've never stopped anybody, I've never killed anybody, and I don't know anybody that has. It's not a silly little mistake. It's a... you're killing people kind of mistake. It's not the same. And something I wanted to mention before when I was talking about the defense and kinda missed it. I'm gonna mention it here. One of the arguments that was attempted by the defense was, you know, Austin McGaff just fell on the knife. You can't just do it. They just fall on knives. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? No, I don't think that's what happened. I don't think that's what's happened. But then again, some people will just use any kind of defense. You're showing us we're at the point where we enable such bad behavior. That murdering someone when faced with consequences, they have to use every victim mentality phrase and said, bam, people siding with the criminal. I'm learning that there's a significant chunk of black population just wants to murder white people. It's sad but true, which I don't think that's gonna help you. And ironically, the proposal might be the best solution. We can share society with people who murder or justify murder. Yes, true. This built me so hard, I wasn't aware how many of them are literally capable of living in society. I've seen the response during the trial, people outside, And there was this very funny clip, and I have it on tap. I guess I could bring it up if need be. It's kind of a trust me, bro, but you know I'm not bullshitting you. Not in this case. There was this black woman that was screaming, "But I have 5 kids. What am I supposed to tell them? What am I supposed to tell them?" I'm assuming she was trying to say, okay, you cannot defend yourself. What do you do? Well, it's really easy. Tell your kids to just not stab people randomly. It shouldn't be a hot take. Then again, here we are. Trying to call Austin a Nazi just to justify him being murdered. It would be bizarre if they hadn't already been doing that for years. They don't call you a Nazi because they think you are, it's because it makes you a pretty easy target for the most extreme violence. We have seen this time and time again. It's literally the same shit that happened to Charlie, okay? It's literally the same shit. And at least Charlie was politically motivated, but the guy was pretty milquetoast. From the Blind Tucker Carlson Jr., I've seen this guy before. This guy's a massive lolcow, but a dangerous one. 35 years ago, killing a Nazi got you a Purple Heart, but now the German American president gives you a life sentence. All white people deserve no mercy. Ah, jeez, I wonder why people are racist against black people in America. I wonder why that could happen. Well, I'm gonna say it. Right now, it's self-inflicted. And I understand not every single black person is like this. But this really strange black supremacists slash anti-white people, extremely violent. Yeah, I don't care about them. I don't care about them. Fuck them. All of them. Situation was just, we didn't have camera phones and body cams back then, so we got psyched out of it. Okay, maybe, I don't know. Last one is completely insane. First off is what? First model should be free? Is this, how do you call those? A point card? Do you need to collect 12 points, or how does this work? Very insane. Very insane. But wait, there is more. This is by TMZ. I see that the computer's is running really well today. So I do believe me freeing stuff in the 3 hard drive was probably for the best. I didn't realize it was getting so full of crap. Then again, I will agree that I also kinda made a mistake there because Firefox was saving the debugs into the C drive, which not ideal. Clearly not ideal, but it's fine. It's fixed now, thankfully. Estimate the family. Getting hate-filled threats. Your son fucked around and found out. You see? They killed your kid, but it's apparently your fault. Cool. Very cool. Ashton the Cat's family is getting inundated with dozens of death threats and other hateful messages following Carmelo Anthony's murder invasion. TMZ has learned. Once again, this is quite similar to Charlie's case. It's not so much what happened, what happened is a tragedy and shouldn't have happened. But the response of people about it, that shows you you're surrounded by insane individuals, and coexisting is pretty much impossible. They just want to see you killed. And they can just say it, and they never suffer consequences. But when you get a little bit spicy and you try to criticize them, in a really fair way, now, cancelled or killed, we'll see. We'll see which one happens first. Sources connected to the trial tell TMZ, the Ibaraki family has been receiving death threats since Anthony was arrested for fatally stabbing Austin in April 2025. But after Thursday's guilty verdict, the family was flooded with dozens of hateful messages across social media and text messages to their personal phones. The good guys, by the way. They're just mad because Austin is no longer living. Yeah? She never stabbed Hunter too. Sure. The killers did nothing wrong. But you know what? They want to see them killed. Just because. Then you've been begging to blame you. She felt around and found out. There are some strange accusations about the father being a wife beater, which they are not even correct. But they will use every possible lie in the book just to fuck with you. TMC obtained with the hostile messages, which you can see above. Someone told the family Austin's twin brother Hunter she had died, and the Austin fucked around and found out. TMC has also learned that people are threatening to show up to Metzger family homes. Some of them are saying they're soiling Austin's grave. I've seen some of these images. Allegedly, they are AI generated. I don't know, I didn't pay enough attention. Even if they are, it's pretty nasty when you see a bunch of black people showing themselves as, look at us, we're just peeing on the grave. Okay, alright. Good fucking job. Good fucking job. Sure, that will help. It's just really funny how, in the beginning of all this, the family that garnered a bunch of money was Carmelo's family, and they fled the location because they were fearing retaliation. What about the Metcalf family? Don't you think they're in a way worse situation when they're factually innocent? I know the term two-tier justice has been thrown around a lot, but I don't think that is wrong. The police are aware of these threats. As we reported, the jury found Anthony guilty of murder after he fatally stabbed Austin at in April 2025 a school track meet. He was also hit with a 35-year prison sentence, which his legal team plans to appeal. Anthony's been held in isolation at the Collin County Jail as he awaits his transfer to state prison. Massive gifts and go fundraising has been shut down. That is true, but I also believe, I've seen some people mentioning that, I don't know if it's correct, but it appears to be true, that the family got the money nonetheless. So, much for that. Take that GoFundMe money and give it to them for security, which I can't wait to that. For family, young racist people, or the Anthony family, they were outside yesterday screaming to Austin's dad that they're happy he's dead, but of course TMZ won't show that. Not wrong, calling them racist, sure. You may some actually think they were going to live like royals, or royalty in this case. This gets to swing through over time. That's fucking crazy, but yep. Not wrong, not wrong. And we also have here an article by Censorand. An American black woman, I don't believe she is American, it would make sense. Titled, I'm Angry, which, yeah. This is pretty much showing what I just mentioned about the current racism problem. Pretty much self-inflicted. Okay, alright. I have spent most of my life under the apparently mistaken impression that the civil rights movement was about convincing people to stop treating me differently because I'm black. This now appears to be an unfashionable position. The modern trend seems to be convincing everyone to become extremely aware of race at all times, preferably while yelling. I realized this while watching the reaction to the Carmelo Anthony verdict. Not the verdict itself, but the reaction. The reaction. These reactions show you a lot. Not the good stuff, but they show you a lot for sure. The verdict was a court proceeding. The reaction was what would happen if you fed 12 gallons of aviation fuel to a leaf blower and pointed directly at the nation's remaining supply of racial goodwill. Almost immediately, in the instrumental field with the declaration that the jury was all white. This was an interesting development because it wasn't. This presented a challenge for the narrative engineers. In professors, in fact, the contrary to your argument was considered a problem. Today it appears that to be considered a minor administrative inconvenience. The jail contained a Muslim woman's relations and a Hispanic man, but apparently they were all white. When they say they're all white, of course they mean they're not black enough. Because of course, they must be at the top of some sort of racial hierarchy of victimhood. The eternal victims. I know I mentioned this before and you cannot tell me I'm wrong. Not after all this. Not after all this. I'm sorry. I am sick of this. It shouldn't be the case. Holy shit, I don't see a way out of this. Yes, and this was determined in advanced academic mathematics. I am not qualified to understand. She's very funny, I will give you that. The same mathematics allows people to explain that race is a social construct. right up until the need to weaken argument. It becomes a rigidly defined biological category again. Science is amazing, isn't it? You see this shit all the time. With anything that has to do with, how do we call this? Demographics maybe? I'm gonna go with demographics. Everything is just a social construct until it's just an intrinsic biological characteristic. And they use both definitions at the same time to obscure what they're talking about. It's the same shit you see with the gender narrative. Oh, but men and women. Sure, but there's a big problem here, and we know why it's serious. I just explained it. Let me take a sip here. I'm really parched today. Cold. Nice. If you talk about women, but the definition of women can be, at the same time, adult human female, the biological definition, and the only correct one I will accept, and the one that refers to anybody that self-assigns womanhood with the new concept of gender. You can just transmutate reality, and you can just transmutate narrative. It's pretty wild. But that's the problem. It's Schrödinger's definitions. If you try to make them give you actual definitions of terms, they fall. Because all of these narratives cannot stand to scrutiny. But they keep using common words and changing their definitions as they see fit to promote their agendas. And if you don't pay attention, it works. Which shouldn't, but then again, science is just amazing, isn't it? Taking the claims that Dustin and his rants gained up on Carmelo. This was also fascinating because that didn't merge through testimony. No matter. We live in a golden age of flexible facts. See, if the old facts stop producing the desired amount of outrage, new facts can be harvested from the internet and brought directly to your home. It just happens all the time nowadays. Not just about race, not just about gender, literally about everything. You will always make up bullshit. Let me increase the power of the fan. I'm sweating a little bit. Oh, why don't you buy an AC? Because I'm a broke-ass bitch, I'm gonna be honest. I'm a broke-ass bitch. And I don't know if I can put in an AC here. I could probably get better cooling for sure, but I need to look up into it. They will just change the facts as they see fit, just because it's convenient. How do you fix that? I don't think you can fix it, because that's something that's really about getting fixed. It's something about... I don't even know how to explain this, I'm gonna be honest. It's just really strange stuff altogether. I was about to say something else, it kinda lost my train of thought. It will happen again, I'm sorry. Hold up. What does I have here? My phone? Oh, okay, nothing important. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. This is the same narrative as the one that some people still use with Kyle Rittenhouse. Oh, but he was just going around killing black people. He shot 3 men. None of them were black. One of them, I think, was a previously convicted pedophile, and I think another one was a woman beater, but I'm not quite sure. And the third one I do believe was also an absolute piece of work. They keep saying that. And if you look up the names, if you look up the people that were shot, clearly not black. But it's very convenient, because this way they can just paint Kyle Rittenhouse as a racist. Because the worst thing you can be is a racist, apparently. And then things got genuinely scary. When prominent personality announced, you don't want to fuck with black people, because we might fucking kill you. Racist people will say, oh, black people are violent. And then you see these black people saying, yes, we'll prove it how you're right by trying to kill you. Well, alright. I don't think you want to make the racist right, okay? I don't think that's a good idea for you. I don't care, I'm not black. I'm trying to help you here. You fucking idiots. But you're too stupid to see it. Because you don't want things to get fixed. You want to be the perpetual victim. Because, oh, look at me. The victim. Why it is so evil? You know what? Fuck you. That's it. Fuck you. There's no more goodwill for these people. I'm sorry. Now I would like to pause here, because I'm like, and that was truly useful information for me. It has somehow reached adulthood without realizing I was supposed to be threatening people. Don't do it. Police, I beg. This wasn't in the handbook of racial behaviors I was issued at birth. Oh, brother, that's a pretty hard line. I was under the impression that my responsibilities consisted primarily of paying taxes, worrying about my blood pressure, and trying to remember where I put my car keys. Apparently, I have instead been participating in a campaign of racial intimidation without even knowing it. There's a place where I keep losing my black membership card. The thing that scares me is not that people say this nonsense. America has always produced loud idiots, as it's one of our great exports. Cannot disagree with that. Cannot disagree with that. What scares me is how many people cheer. How many people hear a statement that sounds suspiciously like a threat and decide it is wisdom? How many people hear racial tribalism and mistake it for racial solidarity? Because here's the ugly truth. Every time one of these people opens their mouth, somebody who has never met me, there's something about me, or things they do. And this is the main problem of all of this. You don't want to see race. You have been trained to not see race. The problem is that race is seeing you right now. The problem is you're being forced to see race. Because they tell you if you are colorblind race-wise, that's still racism. So you need to see race. The problem is, people aren't gonna see race how you want them to see race. They're gonna see, oh wow, these black people are really violent. And you can see that there are black people out there that are normal members of society. And they don't want to get in trouble. Which is completely normal. And then you see, oh geez, these immigrants from sub-Saharan Africa or from the Middle East, they keep just stabbing people. They keep just raping women. They keep going after kids. Shit, I wonder if there's a commonality there. Because once your main census is sight, and if you don't want people to see race first and acts after, but you're being forced to, and the results are not going to be what you think are gonna be. It's not gonna be, yeah, these poor black people, these poor Arab people, these poor whatever. It's gonna be, holy shit, all of these people that have shallow and superficial traits are the same. Hey, maybe we shouldn't get along with those. And of course, that is not fair, because not all of them are like this. But you have to recognize that way too many of them are like this. But it's not fair for the people who are truly innocent. See what I mean? I keep trying to help these people, but they will call me whatever, and I don't fucking care, because I know I'm right. They'll learn that black people believe violence is justified. They'll learn that black people reject the evidence. They'll learn that black people only care about race. I would say this is mainly because of activists, and some eternal victims will say that and use that as a weapon because it's useful for them. They'll learn that black people view justice as a team sport. Now I get to spend my solid years proving another person they just described. And this is what makes me angry. Not offended, not annoyed, angry. See, the Americans of mid-generation, King and before, wore themselves out to death trying to convince the country that we are individuals. Not anymore, sadly. No, it's not her fault, I don't think, but still. Individuals with different opinions, different politics, different dreams, different flaws, but still regular people. Now a collection of professional race hustlers. I don't like that term. They're determined to undo all of that so they can collect engagement on social media. The entire enterprise feels like a man setting fire to his own house because he enjoys being interviewed with local news. The worst part is that they think they're helping. They genuinely seem to believe that making every issue about race will somehow help. And understand this is like believing that pouring bourbon into a lawnmower will improve fuel efficiency. The theory sounds questionable from the start. The results are even worse. I don't want people to fear me. I don't want people to excuse me. I don't want people to hate me. I don't want people to admire me because of my race. I want the same thing I have always wanted. I want people to look at me and see a person. Extremely controversial line nowadays, apparently. Not a demographic, not a historical grievance, not a political weapon, not a member of a tribe. Just a person. Every fucking time some loudmouth gets online starts screaming racial identity matters. More than evidence, more than character, more than truth itself. I find myself wondering how many more bridges they are planning to burn before they run out of matches. All of them. All of them. Because when something they tried, and it worked before, stops working, what are they gonna do? They're not gonna try to do something new, they're not gonna try to do something else that might work. They're gonna keep trying, because it worked before. If you keep trying, it should work again. It's like gambling to some extent. I don't like making the comparison, but it is like gambling to some extent. The problem is that, like, the gambling is a game of chance, but this is reality. You're not playing with random values. You're playing with people getting fed up of your fucking nonsense. It's gonna have negative repercussions on you. Judging by the rational line, the answer appears to be quite a few. And, gonna be honest, I think this is absolutely correct. The thing against is I'm not black. Even if I say this, I will be considered, a racist, the Nazi, white supremacist. You know how they act. But it is factually true. I'm not trying to tout here my own horn. Oh, look at me, I'm so smart and enlightened. But this is painfully obvious. Painfully obvious. I mixed plainly and painfully. It will happen again, I bet, now that I said it for the first time. We're making new words, okay? It's both, it's kinda both. Because, of course, these activists, I'm not saying just the black people, I'm not saying these commie activists, these race-obsessed individuals, are trying to force you to see race. Because they expect you to see race the same way they do. They're too stupid to understand, or too evil to understand, or to consider. You may have a different way of thinking. People are going to start seeing race in a different way that I just mentioned. I don't think that's fair, but you're being forced to see statistics. And when you see the statistics, you cannot unsee them. So be prepared for a racial awakening. You're not going to like it. Hey, I feel that eventually the rich travelers will be invited to leave the West. From your limbs to God's ears. Yeah, I think this is correct. The rich travelers can fuck off. Not saying black people, but the travelers can get the fuck out. Prior to your liberal articulation, your damn inspiration, it's a pleasure to know you. Yeah, it's really easy to read an understanding article. I will be not a succinct, and it's my fault. I used to be really brief with my explanations, but the older I grew, the more and more difficult it became, because people appear to be becoming less smart with the past time. The good news, we're still in a bubble online, most everyday interactions are not like this, but I worry. And unfortunately, it's far more common in the inner city than I'd like. Instead of slowly bubbling up around 2010, it's only gotten worse. Can only imagine, more than 15 years? Doesn't seem good. It's not like the aspirations that were enforced by my parents, society, and the school system of my era have been irrecoverably reversed by the same people who benefited the most from them. It's not enough to be equal or a human being. You have to be a symbol or supremacist. And here we have a quote by Thomas Sowell. Human rights used to be about treating everyone the same, but today some people are so used to special treatment that equal treatment is considered to be discrimination. It's kinda funny to me. That's kinda funny to me. Yeah, it's kinda funny to me because this kinda ties in with the next story that we have. Of course, still fire event mostly peaceful. I need to bring something else here first, if I can find it. Wait, didn't save it? I just don't believe myself. Hold up. Let me look at my archives. I was completely sure I did. Maybe I didn't bring it up because I'm a fucking idiot. That's quite possible. No, it's not that one. No, it's not that one. It's this one. Did I bring it up? I did not. Okay. Well, then I don't need to move anything. I just need to bring this up. And this is to the post. There we go. So I just need to bring this up right now. This is really fucking funny. We also have this here. From last week. The better Prime Minister David Lammy has said racial equality doesn't mean treating everyone the same. Yeah, fucking damn it, then what does it mean? Well, it means treating people in a special way. It's kinda funny because this is not about the next story, this is still about Henry Nowak's story. See, they are Sikhs, they're from India, they are different people, so you have to treat them differently. That's racist. That's quite literally racist. Why would you say something like that? We have a couple of replies here that could get not insanely spicy, but we have Sabi, we have Asmongold. Take a look. In a normal world, that's not allowing progressive cultures into cancer without heavy betting. In this world, it means white people must suffer, so no one person risks being offended. Not wrong. Saying to me that any white person with self-respect could continue voting for political parties who aim to systematically disadvantage them. He's not wrong here, but you have to understand that Europe is really different than the US. Sadly, I don't say this is a positive, absolutely not. For some godforsaken reason, most parties in Europe, or at least in the European Union, are fucking globalists, both left and right. So both end up fucking white people over, no matter what you do. So it's the thing of which one is the lesser of two evils, because there's nothing that's actually good. All the messaging is centered around anti-what sentiment, not racial equality. True, because racial equality is merely left-wing double tag for anti-white. Not wrong. Racial equality means whites being culturally, socially, and genetically replaced and subjugated. What's the virtue signaling about it? Oh, rough! Not wrong. What a fucking riddle he is. Okay, Harry. British forever, this guy is going to jail. Racial equality is treating the native population like shit, and giving third world minorities privileges. Okay, alright, sure, the Henry stuff happened, and should be over. So, what's the deal with the UK? Well, fuck me. The disorder breaks out in Belfast after the man charged of a knife attack. Sure, it's North Ireland, it's still the UK in a technicality, and still the kind of people you don't want to fuck with. Irish people? Yeah, they know how to fix things. That's what I'm gonna say. People have been forced to flee their homes in Belfast amid the disorder following a knife attack. Houses and cars have been set on fire, and public transport has been paused in the city. A 30-year-old Southern man is due to appear in court on Wednesday, which I don't know if it happened. I have my doubts. This is from 4 days ago, so that should have already happened. Charged with attempted murder following the attack in North Belfast on Monday night. He has also been charged with possession of an article with blade in public place and threats to kill. Threats to kill. He was threatening the medical people? That's a better way of saying that, right? Nurses, doctors, they're threatening this guy after he attacked an innocent man. Seems like a normal person you want to have in your country. His fortress remains in hospital with serious injuries to his eyes, neck, and back after the attack in Kinnaird Avenue at about 22:30 BST. So yeah, 10:30 PM, as you would say in American. From what I'm seeing of the serious injuries to his eyes, he has lost sight on both eyes. The first time was confirmed days ago. The other one, I think it was confirmed yesterday. I've seen some people talking about it. I haven't seen any reputable sources, but it's been repeated so much, it might be correct. This man apparently is also deaf. He was deaf before, so not because of the Sudanese attack. And I don't know he had any kind of disability on top of that. I'm not quite sure. Widely circulated online. Also, it's not being shown here. I wonder if they're gonna mention it later. I mean, it's the BBC. It's the big block cogs, or the big printing cogs in this case, maybe. It was a beheading attempt. It was not just a knife attack, it was a beheading attempt. The first video, which I don't think I can show, I think it's a little bit too graphic, clearly shows you what the fuck is going on. You had a bunch of Irishmen, actual Irishmen in this case, trying to free this poor, I think it's like 46, 47. He's on the older 40s, I believe. Trying to stop the attack. There was a guy attacking the Sudanese with some sort of implement. I'm not even quite sure what it was. And at some point, the woman that is I think it's the woman that is filming. It's a woman voice for sure. They started screaming, "Back off, back off! It's the police," because she knows that if they see the situation, you're gonna get in trouble. Even if you were just trying to stop the attack, because black more correct or brown more correct, despite this Sudanese man trying to behead this Irish civilian. Very insane stuff. Which is pretty much what they mention here. The police servers on Northern Ireland, PSNI, have called for calm is spreading packets of disorder have broken out across Northern Ireland in response to the attack. They have been torching down government housing that was potentially housing immigrants. They've been torching down cars and buses. Irish people don't fuck around. People gathered by a number of locations, including Londonderry, Antrim, Newtonabbey, Ballymena, Bangor, and Belfast. Some of these names I've never seen before, I'm sorry. Some protests passed peacefully, but violence erupted in a number of areas. Just were set light on the road, which caught fire to my house, but masked men were bashing down doors. A resident in Landwick Street, in East Belfast, told BBC News. A group of about 100 masked people were on Newtonards Road in East Belfast, where doors were kicked in and windows were broken. A large number of them were teenagers, according to Ulster Unionist Party (UP) leader John Burrows. Bits and bats were also set on fire. A Translinks spokesperson condemned the attack against bus and suspended services. On Tuesday night, Chester Minister Naomi Long, I know the long is an English word, but sounds only Chinese, said there's no place for most thugs in Northern Ireland. But what about beheadings? I guess beheadings in comparison are much better. The more you know. People are fucking fed up. And sure, there are gonna some innocent people, sucks to suck. Another way of putting it. Well organized and understand the concerns following on from the attack in North Belfast. It cannot be allowed to win, she added. I didn't say that to it, and that's my bad. There was enumerating attacks in the UK in the past week. It was not good. It was not good. I'm thinking about several knife attacks, including the behead attempt. We're talking about rapes, and there were like 5 or 6 different incidents in a single week. You cannot live like this. You don't have to live like this. So of course, if justice is not enacted, some people will enact their own justice. This is the failure of the government, by the way. Assistant Chief Constable Ray Henderson applied for voice of influence within local communities to encourage peaceful protests and discourage any involvement in violence or disorder. The Northern Ireland Fire and Rescue Services responded to 62 incidents on Thursday evening. Checks out! The majority of these incidents were in the Greater Belfast area, where an additional 21 fire appliances from across Northern Ireland were required to meet demand. NIFRS said in a statement after midnight. Earlier, Chief Constable John Boucher, a lucky name, said there would be increased police presence on the streets in the coming days. I don't think the videos are rolling. A bit of a shame. As for police, Land Rover was attacked on the Crumlin Road, and houses and cars were on fire nearby. A significant emergency response remains. Impastors helped people targeting the area said members in his church, shopping with us for 20 years, when put out of their homes because they are black. I'm angry at the point that this is the response of people in the community. Pastor Jack McKee said. Sure, and I'm sorry for the people that are actually innocent. But you're being forced to see race. And when you're being forced to see race, you're gonna see the unsavory parts. This is self-inflicted. By these groups, and especially by the government. I know the government's to blame mostly, okay? Especially in the UK. I would never defend them. The PSNI and NIFRS also attended fire at a commercial premises in Belfast's Sandy Row area. About 10 people in dark clothing watched down. Ah, the dark clothing could be here. Two cars were set alight at the Clavern roundabout in Newton Abbey, and the police car was set ablaze in Portadown. Independent MLA Doug Beatty, so this name's a little bit funny to say, said he was the police. He set the police car on fire while on his way back to his constituents to the office. Taking the side on the police were innocent members of the public, his counterproductive and must be condemned, he said. Yes, it's not wrong, however, people are seeing too much. People realize this is an immigration problem. And even though they are innocent immigrants, they have done nothing wrong, people don't care anymore. People don't want to see any more immigration. People don't want to see how it's always the immigrants. They get benefits and they get fuck all. They get stabbings, they get rapes, they get abductions, and they get censored by the government. So the only way to fix that, right now, is for them to just go out and do it themselves. And they're not going to be nice about it. A Turkish barber shop was also tagged in Ballyclare and County Antrim. Northern Ireland Secretary Hilary Benn said that there's no justification at all for this type of destruction and thuggery. I wish you were this outspoken about the other custom crimes you see in the UK. Not just the UK, but they are British, so I'm content with just them realizing the shit that happens in the UK. And this thing still, I don't think we can show them too much, just in case. Earlier on Thursday, the leaders of Northern Ireland's 5 main parties issued a statement to say they were united in their condemnation of the horrific incident. Gay, and also lame. After this order broke out, First Minister Michelle O'Neill criticized what she described as groups of masked men burning families out of their homes as outright thuggery. Attacking North Belfast was heinous and wrong, but there are dangerous attempts to exploit that to target and attack innocent people, she added. Justice is not being enacted. So, you will see injustice from the other side trying to enact justice. It's not gonna be nice, it's not gonna be pretty, it's gonna be a really explosive solution. The Deputy First Minister Emma Little Peggley urged people to protest peacefully. Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean? It's fiery but mostly peaceful, haven't you seen 2020? What is the difference, pal? What is the difference? At least here they're actually targeting more accurately than in 2020. I know are horrified about what has happened. I know so many are angry, and there are those who want to register a protest, she said. Register a protest! You have to register a protest, so you can actually protest outside. Democracy. Fucking hilarious. This thing appeals to acting in an internally peaceful way. Violence does not advance any cause. It damages it. It's not even true. In this case, it's not even true. Sure, violence doesn't advance anything. Well, being peaceful didn't either, so we're gonna try something else. And see what happens. Hey, something could change. That'd be good. That'd be pretty good if it did. There's the alleged attacker. An initial statement from the PSNI on Thursday morning said they believe the alleged attacker was Somali. But they have since confirmed he's Sudanese. Who the fuck cares? Get them out. Get them all out. The Sudanese guy was also living in government housing. Hey, how curious! How did that happen? They say they recovered what they believe to be a kitchen knife at the scene. Ah, they will say, it's knife crime. It's knife crime. Come on, knife. Kill somebody. Do it. Say it's moving. Murphy said the alleged attacker was on leave to remain in the UK until 2028. Okay, alright. He entered the UK in 2023 and was granted refugee status the same year. That's kinda fast. Maybe that shouldn't have happened. The individual claims to have entered the UK via the common travel area, a spokesperson said. Then you say your systems are a problem? Then again, the objective of the system is what it does. But you have to wonder, why? I'm not entirely sure, but I do have my theories. The PS9's chief constable said he understood this suspect made his way from Sudan to Paris, before flying to Dublin, and then traveled by bus to Belfast on February 10, 2023, date on which he claimed asylum. The suspect was not known to police, and there's no trace of him in any of the PS9 national security databases, but you said. Okay, I might understand the guy not being known to the police. Why is there no trace of him in any of the security databases? Shouldn't these quote-unquote refugees be known to the country? Maybe, maybe not. Of course, all of this is extremely fucking ironic. After seeing these from June 1st, 2026, New Belfast Mayor highlights right of diversity in the city. My upbringing has shown me that everyone deserves to be, and must be, treated equally. I want a Belfast that does that reward in ending action, no matter what your background is. Well, well, well. How is that working? I don't think it's working that well. I skimmed through this a little bit. I think there's some stuff in Irish language. It's not English, I cannot read it. Sorry. In Irish speaking, Lord Mayor of Belfast has said diversity will be at the heart of her message over the coming year. Maybe don't. And what about the next mayor candidate? Rants on the opposite. My goodness, it's a landslide! Still the full council meeting on Monday evening, and Sinn Féin Councillor Rosemary Donnelly kinda looks French, but I don't believe this is how Irish social reading. A 30-year-old operations manager in the community sector. Alliance Ormiston Councillor Abernethy was appointed Deputy Lord Mayor of Belfast. I will agree that being called Lord Mayor is pretty cool. Area of Ballymurphy in West Belfast, Rosemary, maybe it's Rosemary, I'm not quite sure. Has been councillor for 3.5 years, represented the Black Mountain District. Ah, you thought it was gonna be something different when we said black, wouldn't you? Black Mountain District electoral area. In her coming term, she says she wants to focus on young people, the cost of living crisis, the Irish language, and the epidemic of violence against women and girls. Hey, that's pretty cool. How can you do that while still trying to push diversity? Pretty much every single problem here, maybe not necessarily the Irish language, but to some extent, is because of unchecked immigration. I'm curious. Hey, how do you fix that? I don't have a fix everything button for you. The largest ceremonial role of mayor goes around in a yearly cycle and shared among the mayor parties in the chamber. Rosemary Donnelly replaced DUP Councillor Tracy Kelly in the mayoral role. Ceremonial role. If that is true, why are the taxpayers paying for it? Pretty much useless. The new mayor told the chamber at City Hall, "This is a great source of pride for me, my family, and help for my young area of Ballymurphy. I couldn't be prouder that the people of the Black Mountain electoral area put their faith in me to represent them. I'm looking forward to showing them sadly what a Ballymurphy woman can bring to the role." Whoops. Whoops. Well, she happens to be fair, the beheading was not her fault, because the guy was already in the council in 2023, but it's still extremely ironic nonetheless. She added, "I was raising an inclusive and welcoming environment, where difference and diversity is embraced and celebrated, and I am proud of that. I am bringing I shall meet everyone deserves to be and must be treated equally." Equally, but more people are more equal than others, of course. What a Belfast that does that in wording and action, no matter what your background is. I want a Belfast where language rights are respected and cherished because they belong to all of us. Not much for that. Okay, guess it keeps going. There's a lot of ads here. Thankfully we have a shield. They want the Belfast where we champion the rights of the most vulnerable in our society, and do so proudly without fear or favor. They will never accept the undeniable rights are merely privileges to be given, and taken from those in need by those in power. I hate when they say that. I do appreciate a lot the American Gusto. You think this is given or granted by the government, you piece of shit? No. It's God-given, goddammit. Holy shit, that is so cool. Much cooler in comparison for sure. But then again, Europe. She added, diversity enriches our city. Oh yeah, with blood. On the lips of all our citizens, and I will champion the diversity. In this year, I will reach out the hand of friendship and do my best to help build the future we can all be proud of. A future-building foundation for a rights-based society. But never a wrong-based society. She said, this is a huge year for Belfast, and I'm calling on all our citizens to get involved this summer and show what we can do and achieve together. Well, I have seen, it's rather impressive. Not what you expected, but rather impressive. And she's speaking something here in Irish. I can't even try to illustrate it, but it's being said here. The Fred and Belfast celebrate working together, and with the event also taking place in 2027, we have a unique opportunity to really engage communities in the staging of one of Europe's biggest cultural events. And encourage visitors to explore everything we have to offer, right across our city. Probably nothing wrong with Belfast as a city. But then again, if you don't want to get beheaded, maybe it's not the best place to visit. Gotta be honest. She said 30% of Belfast population is age 30 or under. Wow, it's actually really high of young people. And many of the issues we face in the city, including cost of living pressures, need for inclusive growth, and that into climate change. Climate change. Yeah, fucking mayor, shut the fuck up. What impact them the most? I want to work with young people to hear their ideas and encourage them to get involved in shaping solutions. I'm particularly keen to support younger women in our communities, and especially those projects working to empower them, tackle negative behaviors towards women, and to unlock access to support services, and enable everyone to reach their full potential. More Irish. Cool. City's Irish language community is also flourishing, and like all languages, it deserves to be protected and nurtured. Nothing wrong with that, I'm gonna be honest. I will showcase the good work being done to foster interest and connection, right across the city, and highlight how language can work as a force for good. Yeah, that's actually kind of long in comparison to what I was expecting. Councillor Haley Abernethy said, someone who grew up in the city, in its first housing, living straight against Belfast, and who loves the city. It's an absolute honor and privilege to be given the opportunity to represent it as the Deputy Lord Mayor. But then, I could never have imagined being in the place I am now. Without a doubt, the most exciting part of this role is getting the chance to meet the people that make Belfast what it is, to see firsthand the work being done to make the city a better place to live and work, and to support the amazing organizations largely responsible for helping see it done. Yeah, how is that going for you, pal? One thing I have realized over my lifetime is there are not two communities living in the city. We are together one community. Wrong! Wrong and gay. We have many different and diverse identities, backgrounds, and ways of life. No, you cannot have a diverse community. It doesn't work. And they have different backgrounds, different identities, and different ways of life. It is by definition not a community, not a single community, because they don't share a common culture, they don't share a common way of thinking. That's an oxymoron. Then again, an oxymoron from an actual moron, potentially. Look forward to getting to know them all a little better over the next year or so. Yeah, I can't wait to hit the ground running and get stuck in. Seems like a nice girl. Intelligent and caring. Good luck to her. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. No. No. No, I don't think so. Rather fucking hilarious if you ask me. And of course, after all of this has happened in Belfast, worry not, the politicians are gonna fix it. Labor the current visa cuts for high-skilled foreign workers amid an employment crisis. Hold the fuck up, what? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. We're meant to subsidize high-growth companies up to £25,000 to hire skilled workers from abroad. Hilarious. Fucking hilarious. It's not a long, simply. Rachel Reeves will reimburse British firms £5,000 per foreign worker in a bid to make the country more attractive despite the UK's growing youth unemployment crisis. If you have a growing youth unemployment crisis, why the fuck would you keep bringing people from outside? You absolute fucking lunatic! The government will subsidize high-growth British-based firms up to £25,000 and visa cards for high-skilled workers. High skill, by the way. Hired from abroad and the bandits under a scheme set to be announced on Wednesday. The scheme, which will also fast-track the sponsored license applications for international businesses, will be for specialist hires in tech and digital, life sciences, and clean energy sectors. Ame no dorime. Comes with the cancer contest with an increasing number of homegrown graduates struggling to find jobs in the UK. Well, what about that? Couldn't describe the plan as a disaster for young British graduates who already face the worst jobs market in a generation. Not wrong. Under proposals, a single scale-up business in the UK would be able to claim a maximum of £5,000 per employee at a limit of £25,000 per year. It's understood there will not be a direct limit on the number of staff that can benefit. That's from the financial restrictions. Not on the direct limit. Yeah, that seems like a great idea. For firms based overseas that have not yet begun trading in Britain, they will expedite these applications for the UK, a special worker sponsor license, which allows staff from overseas firms that have not yet started trading in the UK to establish operations temporarily. The process will last around 10 days rather than several weeks. Last month, the Milmore Review found that Britain was confronting the worst worklessness crisis in 25 years. With data revealing that the number of economically inactive young people had hit a record high. You know what is the fix for that? When there is not enough offer for jobs, adding more demand for jobs. I'm surrounded by fucking idiots. I don't think they're truly idiots. I think they're mostly evil. We should make that distinction. This is not because of incompetence. Because incompetent people should fail about 50% of the time. And they fail literally every single time. So it's on purpose. They are blatantly evil. Norwegian Watch UK criticized the subsidy of overseas workers' visa fees for not prioritizing British graduates. True and correct. The think tank said it now seems the government wants to make the big door into Britain a bit cheaper and more accessible. Once again, the objective of his system is what it does. And what is the system that was the UK doing? Fucking British people and importing infinite immigrants. This would be a disaster for young British workers who already face the worst jobs marketing in generation. It comes in addition to the so-called skilled worker visa, which is already used to import supermarket staff and takeaway drivers amongst others, instead of the sort of entry-level work young Brits used to do. Holy shit, dude, literally the same bullshit as H-1B visas in the US. But it's not surprising. It's not really surprising. Because if you've seen... I didn't save it and I can only blame myself for that. If you have seen... He was some sort of Indian politician. Actual Indian politician in India. Saying that their plan was to conquer the West with this immigration. Completely fucking over the economy. Do you think they're lying? No. I don't think they will lie about something like that. They're very clearly doing that. That's another surprise when you get Indian politicians in the UK, or you get Indian politicians in the US. And they keep pushing for this. They keep pushing for people from outside to get all the benefits. And you know what I say? I don't think foreigners should be politicians. If I went to, let's say, live in the US, I shouldn't be able to become a politician because I am not American. Even if I manage to get a citizenship, I'm not born and bred American. How can you guarantee I'm gonna look for the betterment of Americans. You don't. I probably would if I got to that position. But I know I'm an anomaly in that regard. But you get Israelis in the US, you get Indians pretty much every fucking where, you get Muslims in many different locations, you get Somalians in places like Minnesota. You know what's going on there. You know what's going on. I will do my best to help the Somalians. Who the fuck cares? You're in Minnesota. Do something for the Americans, you piece of shit. So that will be an easy fix. Are you from outside? Yes. Are you a politician? Exiled. Never come back. Colin Price of the Institute of Economic Affairs, IEA, think that he said the government would be far better off making it easy for businesses to hire people and making the UK an attractive place for high-skilled workers across the board. They can spend the taxpayer money and trying to pick limited winners. But they want to spend your money in fucking you over. What a business! Before the 2024 general election, Labour will have introduced rules to prioritize British jobs for British workers. The requirement to try and recruit British workers was in force until 2019, when Boris fucking Johnson granted regulations as part of the shake-up of the policy system for skilled workers. See what I mean? Ah, but it was the right wing! It doesn't fucking matter. The right wing in Europe is just a bunch of fucking globalists. They will not do the right thing. They are still a bunch of evil globalists. You need to get them out. I wonder if they're just being bought by whatever. But they're clearly not good. In the summit with Peter Kyle, the business secretary, Ms. Rivers said the funding will come alongside the new consumer service for businesses. It's part of a quest to nurture the UK's first $1 trillion firm. Can we get Elon to buy it? That'd be funny. He wrote, the new consumer service offering tier of support will accelerate the most promising skill-ups and build a strong pipeline of high-growth firms ready to break through. It will ensure that the current support for business is joined up and delivering targeted support to tackle issues facing promising firms in the country. The statement added, we're backing the UK's most ambitious firms to start, scale and stay here. With finance, talent and support they need to succeed. Working in partnership with industry, we're making sure Britain is the best place in the world, not just to start a business, to grow a world-leading one. Everything with the British money and for the British government, but without the British population. Happens way too much. You might be thinking, okay, alright, that's not gonna help British people. Sure, there's gotta be something with the government that helps. What about this one? Heard cancelled for telling residents to hang England flags because intimidates migrants during World Cup. I don't fucking care. I do believe there's something similar going on in Germany too. I think my mother mentioned that to me, but I didn't see an article for this, or for that. I think they want to make illegal hanging the national flag because by immigrants. I don't fucking care. How the hell could you do something like that? I'm not even joking. It's a symbol of the country. How is a symbol of the country prohibited? Well, if the symbol of the country is banned, you need to understand, you don't have a country anymore. No borders, no flags, no hymns, nothing. You have nothing left. You might have something with the culture if you actually protect it. And that's it. By design. It's probably gonna be long because the Daily Mail is usually very wordy with the stuff. So let's get through it. Castles are warning England fans not to hang St. George's Cross flags on public property as they attempt to maintain a welcoming and cohesive community feel. You know, if I'm gonna go to England, I would expect to see English flags. If I go to the US, I would expect to see American flags. If I go to Germany, I would expect to see the German flag, the modern one. I mean, if I go to Italy, if I go to Japan, if I go to China, if I go to Australia, if I go to Russia, if I go to Poland, give me the fucking country, the flag makes sense. But if you're a Westerner, it's not allowed. Bristol, South Gloucestershire, Wiltshire, and Shropshire. So many shires here, where are the hobbits? Among the local authorities, urging locals not to attach flags to lampposts or signs without permission. But the former Native Forage said today that anyone flying England flag inside their home was now intimidating migrants, according to a political class. Yet the Home Secretary Chris Philp told the Daily Mail, "This is outrageous. British citizens should be allowed to display national flags with the St. George Cross, Saltire, or Union Jack at times like this. Not even at times like this. At any possible time. It's your country. It's your flag. Why can't you have it?" I also see that here a lot. Unless you have a huge event like the Soccer World Cup, you can't show any appreciation for the country or its symbols. And even then, I've seen some very extremist people saying shit like, "Oh yeah, I see the neighbor from across the street has the country flag on the window." They're living in apartments, of course. I went to shoot a fire arrow to burn it down. But you have to remember, they just want to keep you healthcare. Cesspit of hatred and lies. Mostly hatred. Well, councils should stop being ashamed of our national identity and culture, and start celebrating it instead. And proud of our national identity, what it should be. Things like the World Cup is a good time to display it. And I can understand you should display the flag because it may look a little bit ugly. Some flags are not nice, some of the flags are kinda cool. I would say the Union Jack is pretty iconic, for example. I like the Isle of Man flag, it has 3 legs. It's hilarious to me. But it's the national symbol. Yes, after immigration officers were told that wearing England badges during the World Cup, which starts tonight, this was a couple of days ago, could intimidate detained migrants. Oh my god, I don't fucking care. First, they're migrants. Second, they're detained. What do you mean? They're being intimidated? Good. What are you talking about? The messages come ahead of the World Cup, with England beginning their campaign against Croatia in Dallas on June 17th at 9 p.m. BST. This in Ghana in Boston on June 23rd, again at 9 p.m. and Panama, New Jersey on June 27th at 10 p.m. Those are going up in some areas of England, including at the famous Gerber Estate in Bermondsey, southeast London, and was the country's most patriotic state. Oh, look at that! That's crazy, dude. I couldn't say that shit here with proper flags. And it follows the Operation Raise the Colors campaign becoming flashpoint last summer. Patriotic activists put up St. George's Cross flags on lampposts and painted them on roundabouts. But critics claimed it was hurtful to the immigrants. If the immigrants are hurt because of the flag of the country, they shouldn't be there. Send them the fuck out. Now, Bristol City Council leader Tony Dyer has told locals they cannot fly flags on lampposts or railings or any public property because of health and safety issues. And she told me, okay, it could be dangerous because, I don't know, a fire. At least you have plausible deniability. But it's not the case. He encouraged anyone who spots any flags on public property to report them to the council. That officials were already taking down flags in sensitive locations as a priority and will be reviewing our strategy for removing other flags on our property. Extremely gay, extremely lame. Turntown Avenue in the city's northwest area was probably dubbed one of England's most prolific streets. After all, 88 houses displayed the flag of Euro 2020. Patriotic. Euro 2020. Yeah, I don't know about that. One shore council still flags hung with the permission of lampposts, roundabouts, and road signs for safety rails to road users and pedestrians and restrict visibility. I don't think they do, mate. I don't think they do, I'm gonna be honest. I've seen some of those here back in the day. It's not a big deal. And the South Gloucestershire Council warned officials who remove flags displayed without permission on public land or council property, and that the rules were to protect public safety, maintaining a welcoming and cohesive community feel. You have to be welcoming by killing yourself. Nice. Very nice. Mr. Dyer said, the Football World Cup is a moment when people across Bristol and around the world come together to celebrate national identity, culture, and heritage. Which, it's correct. That's why you should be able to fly the flag. if I said something, if I said the kind of joke I wanted to say, I will get banned. But when I say flag, you probably understand behind the joke I tried to make. Looking forward to seeing the usual color and pride across our city as residents support England, Scotland, and many other nations competing in the tournament. And welcome to the Spirit Celebration. Kinda funny, you mentioned pride here. I know exactly what he means with pride. But I bet the city council people don't care a little bit if you fly the gay flags. We have seen this before. Double standards all around me. Very, very frightening. Over the years we have become accustomed to seeing flags from countries across the globe displayed from homes, cars, and local businesses during major tournaments. It also pays me to say, which of course this is not the UK, but there are similar situations. It pays me to say I've seen way too many Palestinian flags in this city. But I don't think I've seen any national flags. Well. So strange. But really not that strange. The festival shows the world, a sea of color across our neighborhoods, is part of what makes events of the World Cup so special. First, the diversity for our city, in the shared excitement that brings communities together, whether people are following their home nation or simply enjoying the occasion. If you want to display your team's flag, please put it up in your own home. What people can do is fly flags on lampposts or railings or any public property. Please do not attach anything to lampposts, it causes health and safety issues. Nah. No, it doesn't. And you know it. People say flags on public property, they can report them through Fix My Street. I wonder if we can report something else for Fix My Street. We're taking down flags in sensitive locations as a priority, and we'll be reviewing our strategy for removing other flags on our property. World Cup should be a positive moment for our city, and we want people to enjoy supporting their teams. If they're in England, how comes they don't support the British team? How is that possible? A bit strange if you ask me. A bit strange. They are not integrating themselves. How curious. Celebrating responsibility and being mindful of others, we ensure that Bristol remains welcoming, respectful, and safer environment for everyone during the tournament. Now, fuck you. Councillor Martin Smith, county member for Highways at Wiltshire Council, said, probably mine still, right? With major sporting events such as the World Cup bringing communities together, many residents will want to show their support with displaying England flags and decorations. We're all willing the England team on to end 60 years support and bring the trophy home. 60 years? That's kinda rough. However, we would like to remind residents that placing items such as banners, bunting or flags on or near the public highway, including lampposts, road signs, and roundabouts without permission, can pose safety risks to road users and pedestrians, concentrate visibility. Bullshit. It's been done here before, many times. Nothing ever happens. Nothing ever happens. I've seen some of those flags. They're in roundabouts for literal months, okay? Some of them even years. I've been fucking joking. Which is somewhat surprising, but still. We will try to ensure the roads remain safe, clear and accessible at all times. Any unauthorized items placed on the highway or on a castle land have to be removed for these reasons. Okay, lame. Holy shit, it keeps going! I mean, they're gonna keep repeating the same shit, I believe. So if we can jump to something else. I think that's probably okay. Maybe feeling great again, get other stuff. So now we're on the run for being patriotic to our country. You could have made up, this country's a joke. You're not taking any kind of bullshit, dude. Hey, help the British people. Wake up a little bit. Holy shit, we need to jumpstart something crazy here. And now you might be thinking, okay, alright, this is not helping the current problems with immigrants. You know what will? This. Ranking. The UK's drafting a law to scan every photo and video in messaging every phone in the country. The CEOs who refuse to implement this could face up to 5 years in prison. 5 years in prison! Fucking crazy! The proposal will force companies to build device-level scanners that inspect content before encryption. That means every image is scanned, every message inspected, every video analyzed. End-to-end encryption, it doesn't really matter, because it's looking at everything in one of the ends. Cool! All directly on your phone. And governments and companies pushing these safety systems. already have a terrible track record protecting user data, which they don't care about protecting user data. Come on, are you new here? Last month, Europe's new age verification app brought it as a way to keep children safe. Was active in 2 minutes. We covered that. In other case, over 70,000 IDs and selfies linked to online verification system for exposing a major breach. We covered that. Now the UK wants even deeper access directly inside your device. Once governments force surveillance tells it to do every phone, they can expand what gets monitored at any time. China, China, China! Cannot believe this is not China! But I told you, you're gonna see very Chinese times here. And it's by design. It's not about the kids. It's not about terrorism. It's not about protection. It's about you not being able to say what you want to say. Of course it is. Undoubtedly so. I have the source here, which I'm going to go through it. There's no political solution. Well, that's what you say. I can see where this is going. Keep Mr. Maroon. Hey, he looks kinda good here. What's going on? Guess that George R will be like, holy shit! Yeah, got it for what? Perhaps they should have pretended it's keep children safe and tell the truth. It's prevent whites from protecting their future. That's wrong. Of course. We can also say this. And so it begins. Swedish media is now calling for a ban on eggs, all because they're losing control of the narrative. This is where the lies are exposed. If you don't know too much about Sweden, I can tell you, they are giga-fucked with immigration. I've been seeing this for many, many years. I do remember seeing a guy just breaking all of the windows in parked cars, just because. There were people throwing fucking grenades around, completely fucking up cars and whatnot. What the? This was way before COVID. This was like 2017. Sweden is giga-fucked. And you might be thinking, are they cool? Where are the Vikings? Dead. Dead and cocked. Nothing you can do. And it's slow crushing forbidden knowledge to them that will make you hate looking at Europe. But it's not Elon Musk's fault, obviously. No, not really. The only thing in Europe are like the French nobility before the revolution. Totally out of touch with the populace. They kept saying far-right, which is the new let them eat cake. Yeah, I guess you can see that. Despite us having the best tools to finish social media for countering misinformation and disinformation, Grok at our fingertips for every post, on the fly, despite checking community notes, couldn't not about fake news. And Grok makes mistakes. Grok can sometimes just use the usual, but the official sources said, yeah, but the official sources are biased and wrong. Now, that's the nature of the beast, I suppose. People are sweating. And understand what this German man is saying about your efforts. That's really sinking.
For 20 years, I've been separating my trash into 7 different categories. For what? 1 square meter here just cancelled my entire childhood. And people back home really think we make a difference using paper straws and all that.
Yeah. You wanna fix the environment and the pollution? Yeah, talk to China and talk to India. For obvious reasons. Absolutely fucking disgusting. And of course when you import those, maybe not so much the Chinese, because it depends. I haven't really seen that from Chinese people living here, thankfully. But when you get Indians in the UK, they still throw their trash into the river. Yeah, no, that's no. Lost the complete narrative control. Now they're going to attempt quarantine. See if that works. Okay, alright, that's Sweden. What about Canada? Oh, Canada. Canada plans to ban children under 16 from using social media as part of a new online safety law. Under the proposal, social media companies must prevent users under 16 from creating or using accounts unless they meet government-approved safety rules. Companies that break the rules could face fines up to 10 million Canadian dollars, or 3% of the global revenue, whichever is higher. It's never ending. Never ending. I love this meme. most regulated the world, most despite the world, cock the world. I'm a terrible parent and I need the government to protect my child. Horrible. Bunch of fucking idiots, all of them. My goodness. And it's fucking hilarious when we see all of these immigration problems, and then we see this guy here. Is he my friend leader? At Tulamore Jew. If we hover here. Irish Jewish anti-fascist. You can do with that information what you want. And this guy says, the more diverse Europe is already baked in. It could well get multiple new far-right governments next year, and every one of them is gonna take one look at the budgets and realize you can have through immigration or pensions, but not both. This is a massive fucking lie. And we know that this is a fucking massive lie. This is the lie that they tell you. But we need immigration. Because we need people working to pay the pensions. And if that is correct, why is the unemployment rate going so high? If that is correct, how is it possible that these immigrants don't work? How is this possible these immigrants get a huge amount of benefits better than the old people that have the pensions? Which at least those people actually worked for the betterment of the country, at least in theory. At least they're from here and they worked here. But then you see these immigrants getting free housing, free phones, free energy, a lot of money each month, free food, the animation free food, free food. They come here to live like fucking kings. They're a detriment to the economy, not a boost to the economy. Do you want to fix the economy? Kick them out. It's not just, everything is fixed, but it's a good fix. It helps. I suspect they will try to square the circle. The way the Americans have well-interested spectacles is a panacea in the hopes of satisfying their support base out of paying attention to the actual numbers. See? Look at the numbers don't lie! The liberals showing you the wrong numbers. Every single fucking time. It's really going to be a lot of the next 20 years until everyone simply gets used to seeing more brown faces on the streets and the increasing climate and economic trouble heading our way. We should focus on the more urgent matters. The urgent matter in the West for the economy is immigration. What do you mean? There's not enough housing. Yeah, because you have a lot of government housing being used for immigrants. Paid by you, the taxpayer. Wow, you're paying to get him fucked. My goodness, it's so good. This will unfortunately make the kind of integration needed to handle the change, and which anti-migrant types often claim they want a lot more challenging in the meantime. Which is why it's important to hold firm against the pressure to positive vision of making immigration work. You don't need to make immigration work, because you don't need immigration. We could, of course, make the exception of the highest skilled engineers and scientists that you might need to increase tech in your country. Sure, that's fair. But when we're talking about countries, they have a record-breaking youth unemployment rate. When you have countries, they have really well-prepared doctors, scientists, engineers, and they had to go abroad because they cannot live here because they're being paid fucking pennies. It's not because of the nationals. It's not because of they're so selfish and they just want more money. Yes, because you cannot live with the wage of a doctor nowadays. You see what I'm saying? And then the doctors you get come from second or third world shitholes, so everything becomes worse. Yay! You wanna fix the country? Yeah, let's talk about immigration first. Fantastic input! New physical contribution by ethnic group. UK 2023 to 2024. Asian, net negative of more than £4,000. Black, net negative of more than £4,500. Mixed, net negative of more than £5,500. Other, net negative of more than £5,000. White, net positive of about £1,500. Oh, so curious. I will say, but it's promoting immigration. Yes. they promote immigration, that doesn't mean the numbers are wrong. They have the board, well, there's still an option. Making impassable demands, your leaders will never end. It's only setting yourself up for another 20 years of being constantly angry and confused. Your leaders, they're humans like you and me. If they cannot enact the demands of the public and the citizens, they shouldn't be there. You're making this very easy, my Jew individual. Tabula rasa is fucking gay, dude. The amount of equation will change that. Spanish produce Somalia, and will continue to produce versions of Somalia wherever they go. I'm just in Minnesota? Yeah, very much. Japan was known twice and it's a top 3 civilization. Totally different people. Yeah, I wonder if there could be differences between different populations and cultures. Probably not. I don't see people complaining about Japanese immigrants. I don't see people complaining about Korean immigrants. I don't usually see people complaining about Chinese immigrants. But we talk about Middle East, Sub-Saharan Africa, or some other uncivil places like India, it's nothing more than problems. Oh, weird, how strange. Of course, I bet they will fix immigration soon. Another jinx you can tell yourself. Today, the EU migration ban takes into effect on all 27 member states, spread a huge source of migrants. Shit is fact, it's about to get worse. Nice. The law allows for asylum and border procedures. Earlier worker rights after just 6 months of processing. Migrants are to be relocated across Europe to not overload frontline states, with 20,000 euro fines per migrant if not done so. It'll be a shame if all of these migrants that come here suddenly started disappearing. Surely that will never happen. I wonder. Europeans actually stopped for a second and asked why it is so important for foreigners from the third world to be in European countries. I can't smell the ethnic replacement, folks. They know, but you don't have any fucking party that opposes it. That's the problem. You may have some politicians somewhere, if you are lucky, but that's it. Yeah, it's pretty accurate. I'm being beheaded. I don't think you are, mate. Absolutely fucking disgusting. Absolutely foul. But then again, even though I think Chinese immigrants might be the worst, Chinese have to do some nonsense sometimes too. OpenAI covered the China-linked campaign that tried to turn Americans against AI data centers by posting as regular people online. But I was told this didn't happen. The post focused on rising electricity demand, water use, and the impact of large data centers in local communities, which some of these issues are actually real, like electricity. But you can fix it. The problem is they are not fixing it the right way. OpenAI investigator Ben Nemo said the campaign was jumping into the bandwagon of a genuine pre-existing domestic debate, not like creating a new issue. According to OpenAI, the operation tried to exploit and amplify existing public concerns, but showed little sign of impact. Nemo said, "We didn't see any signs that they succeeded." I mean, it's hard to tell because you obviously have some stark anti-AI individuals. Are they emboldened by this or not? It's hard to tell. I would say it's hard to tell at least. I would say that maybe these people know better than me, but do they? Do they really? I would hope so. But no, that's not really saying anything. Very funny. I was hanging with a bunch of these little bitches on YouTube a couple of weeks back. I know they were retards, but didn't suspect them to be paid retards. I mean, if you're good at something, never do it for free, right? Up again says the Chinese try to make you hate their data centers. You really did hate them, but they tried to make you hate them more. They didn't actually have an impact whatsoever. They're telling you this so you know hating your company's anti-American process to be. I don't think I agree with that. Of course you have a technological arms race right now with AI. So I think it's obvious that China will want to make American AI weaker so theirs is stronger. Don't think it's about anti-China propaganda in this case. I guess it could be. I guess it's a possibility still, but could go both ways, honestly. Now then, speaking of tech, Let's talk about a little bit about tech and how Google Chrome is probably just that. Google's about the table on ad blocker extensions in Chrome. Still for letting the ad blocker inspect the traffic itself, extensions now hide behind Google's browser and limited list of filtering rules and hope for the best. This leads to weaker blocking and more ads getting through. What makes the vast majority of its money selling ads. The company that profits from every ad you see also controls the browser most people use, with Chrome 149 being the last version supporting ad blockers. For example, under the new rules, geolocation cannot exist. For millions of people, that extension is the only thing standing between them and a wall of ads, trackers, and other play garbage. Things to put it bluntly, the web is literally usable without geoblock origin. What is the solution for this? Well, I don't know if there's much solution, but I will say Firefox right now still works. I don't think it's as good as some people say. I think it's still somewhat laggy. Brave, still a good option. I know it's Chromium, but it being Chromium doesn't mean it can have its own mechanisms to block ads. Some people have been mentioned in some browser. I actually never tried it. It seemed pretty decent. But please, for the love of God, de-Google yourself. Do yourself a favor. So come in 2026 like using Internet Explorer in 2016. Come on. Then insult Internet Explorer. Yeah. I'm so thirsty today. Fuck. I will need to get more water after stream at the rate. Fuck me, dude. Not so much because of the heat, which I mean also helps. But I don't know. I feel like my throat is really dry. Could be because of the yapping. Rainfall is also affected, but they also said they'll be using envtuber for the time being. I don't think this is truly correct. If they made a proper fork of Chromium, they shouldn't have to be affected. But we'll see. Will not be also for Chromium-based browsers, and upgrading from env2 to env3. But the Braille already said it will be maintaining env2 for the time being. But yeah, it's not looking great. You should take Google as much as possible. I know it's pretty much impossible nowadays, which is somewhat of a victory for the company. But still, you can still lower your usage, which is probably for the best. I've been using DuckDuckGo a lot recently as a search engine. I would say pretty decent. Pretty decent overall. Better than Brave search engine for sure. And usually gives me what I need, so that's nice. Usually have better filtering options for images, which is something I do a lot for YouTube thumbnails. So yeah, I wonder if we'll see the kind of sort of a collapse of Google/Google Chrome. Sight to behold, to be sure. But there is more. If something is free, you might be the product. Pokemon data trained AI that could assist military drones in war zones. Well, how did that happen? Location scans for the globally popular augmented reality game have helped train AI to recognize and interpret physical spaces. How curious. I mean, if you know a little bit about Ingress, it shouldn't be a surprise. I do like the picture toy though. Seems kinda nice. A game model trained and data collected from users of Pokemon Go will potentially help military drones find their location in war zones. Pokemon Go 2016 augmented reality mobile game allowed players to find and catch Pokemon in the real world using the cameras on their mobile phones. Exploding popularity. In 2019, the company reported having more than 800 million downloads worldwide. And that was after the 2016 craze, which is somewhat surprising. A 2021 update to the game introduced Pokestops, which game players can give rewards for kind of relocations using their devices. It requires users to opt in and upload the recording. Ah, so it's not the regular Pokestop. You get the location, you flip it, and you get some items. Interesting. Ah, jeez, why would they want to scan relocations? Yeah, I wonder why. Niantic, which created Pokemon Go. That's a nice typo. In partnership with Nintendo, collected users' location and scan data before the company sold its game division in 2025. The historical scans were used to train the company's AI models to recognize and interpret its faces in the physical world. As was reported by Drunk Excel this week. Antic Spatial, speaking of company from Niantic, announced partnership with Venture, A company that specializes in special detection software for drones, including those used by some militaries in December. And it's gonna be difficult to get out of this one, even though they're trying. The agreement is designed to allow drones to navigate and coordinate precisely in areas where GPS is not available. I can see the logic. Partnership addresses a critical vulnerability in military operations. GPS unavailability, spoofing, interference, and jamming. The announcement stated, when satellite signals are compromised, autonomous systems and field teams lose their ability to orient, coordinate, or maintain accurate situational awareness. Commander's Chief Product Officer Peter Wilczynski highlighted the benefits of the two companies working together in a December interview with Tectonic Defense. The modern battle space is going to be complete with different systems, and you're going to want to upgrade those systems quickly. Bringing new hardware online faster than new software, Wilczynski said. It is somewhat hilarious to me that every single time we see something has to do with AI, drones, whatever, used for the military, it's related to games. Truly, gamers will inherit the world at this rate. One can only hope. But the company still guarding Australia, mate. The quantum scans from the game were not provided to vtuber as part of the partnership, but the scans from Pokemon Go were used to train Niantic's foundation models. So, in a technicality, it is correct. This has been used. So, we'll see how they try to get out of this one. New scans collected through Pokemon Go were submitted voluntarily by players who opted into the feature and were subject to the applicable terms of service and privacy policy at the time, the Niantic special spokesperson said. Yeah, I know, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can do, well, it actually kinda means they can do whatever you want with the data, but I don't think that's implied. They're doing that because they get something in the game. Our gamers are stupid. Don't answer that one. I don't need to know. We all know the answer. Sad to say. But company said the partnership was still in its early stages. Tom Solston, in the policy for tech policy think tank Digital Rights Watch, said the use of civilian data for military was troubling. I mean, if it's not disclosed, yeah, it's a little bit, at the best, a gray area for sure. Let me have disclaimers in their terms and conditions. We know that most people don't read vast legal documents when they want to play a video game, he said. And that's how they get you. You want to play this? Yeah, look at these terms and conditions. I'm not gonna read it. Cool. Now, I own your soul. That could happen. That could happen. But regulators focus on best interests of the user. Or a fairly reasonable test to keep users safe from exploitation like this. While we're waiting for the government to catch up, it's important that we remember that free software services doesn't treat the users as the customer, but the product to be sold. Hey, didn't you say that? Happens all the time, to be fair. So it's somewhat pretty common. Dr. Rob Nichols, senior researcher associated at the University of Sydney Center for AI, Trust and Governance, said the case was likely the tip of the iceberg regarding data collected from apps being used for other purposes. It will happen every single time. You need to be really careful with the kind of data you have in the phone, even if it's just stored, okay? You don't know how easy it is to bring into phones and get the information. I've already seen that Strap data has been used to identify the location of military facilities, he said. And then the directives not to use devices with GPS and sharing have come from a number of different militaries. Announced in February dealt with the US Army of up to 217 million USD for training software. The anti-sold video game division to Saudi Arabia owned Scopely for 3.5 billion USD in 2025. Surely, this will not have negative consequences for them going forward. Don't blow my nose, getting a little bit stuffy. Give me a second here, please. Saudi Arabians having access to this kind of training data sets, I bet nothing wrong will happen. Surely. Surely not. Of course, they deny all of this. Niantic especially denies Pokemon Go data is being shared with its own company. The company says no longer receives data from the Monster Catching app after Niantic was acquired by Scopely, but that's just trying to deny something we know is true. Sure, it was early, but it happened. Pokemon Go's history of being used to collect data is well documented, with the AR scans people generate while playing the game being used to build AI-powered map models. The players had to opt into the feature, may have expressed discomfort with the use of the Monster Taming Game's in-app features to collect such data, and the discomfort escalated as it has come out that Niantic Spatial, a separate company that owns all the original scans following developer Niantic's acquisition by the Saudi-owned Scopely, entered into agreement with Venture, a provider of spatial intelligence that seeks to deliver a comprehensive precision solution that will enable air and ground platforms to navigate and coordinate precisely in GBA's denied environments. Every single time they keep using your data, and what do you think is something good? It never is. You should stop allowing your data to be used. And we know it's really difficult nowadays because, oh, what do you do? The smartphone is compromised, the computer is compromised, don't even start me on Google services. But you can always reduce the amount of information. And since this is updating, there's no excuse. There again, I bet that we're getting some in-game rewards. Whoa, I get to sell my data and they give me a couple of Pokeballs. That seems good to me. Fools. Fools, all of them. They will sell their souls for the price of a cheeseburger. Without bacon. The regional announcement said this partnership was part of an effort to solve issues of GPS unavailability, spoofing, interference, and jamming. Interim piloting is in the Niantic Spatial's underground data, and band of serial data, allowing both for a shared coordinating system that would allow any sensor to determine its position, leaving a signal or jammed or otherwise blocked. The idea is that drones will be able to share coordinates with a ground-level pilot, even without the GPS signal. Something that we have seen already. Panther has previously worked with defense and intelligence industries, and said the possible military application of technology that could be used to pilot drones, even when signals are jammed, is enough to make Pokemon Go fans wonder if the pictures they took of Pokestops could be used to assist in drone strikes. Panther has denied the Pokemon Go data was used in creation of the model, and Niantic Spatial has said that those Go scans were part of an early version of its own navigation model. So, was it used or not? They say no, but if the scans were an early version of the navigation model, it's kinda true they've been used for the model. Even if it was an old version. The new version, I bet, depends on the older version. Without the older version, you wouldn't have the new version. So, isn't this an admission by denial? Seems really strange. Crown and Volkskrantz reports on the matter are compiled by Tron Excel, asserting that a US defense contractor, Venture, is preparing to put the innovation model created with the help of the roughly 30 billion scans per have created while playing Pokemon Go into drones and other military robots. Reports have been going on viral on social media. I think that is incorrect there. So we're gonna reach out to Niantic Spatial for clarity in the situation, and the company released two statements claiming that the Pokemon Go data is not part of its agreement with Venture. Pokemon Go's data is not shared with Niantic Spatial, since the company was spun off following the Scopely acquisition. Okay, this is legalese. So, Pokemon data is not part of its agreement with Venture. This could be correct. That doesn't mean you're not using the data to train the models for it. And you say the Pokemon Go's data is not shared with Niantic Spatial, since the company was spun off following the Scopely acquisition. But you had data from before that, because this function, as we've seen, is from 2021, and the acquisition by Scopely was 2025. I think they're trying to tell you no, while the truth is that yes. Very strange, but it kind of makes sense. As part of Scopely, Pokemon Go data is not shared with Niantic Spatial. The company spokesperson said in a statement to Kotaku. New scans collected through Pokemon Go were submitted voluntarily by players who opted into the feature and were subject to the applicable terms of service and privacy policy. At the time, the continuation of AR scanning and the end of data sharing with Niantic Spatial were part of the transition planning associated with Pokemon Go's move to Scopely. That doesn't mean you don't have data from before. Therefore, the statement the company has explained scanning and models while reiterating the Pokemon Go, as it exists right now, is not sharing data with Niantic Spatial. As it exists right now! What about before, since the data is from 2021 onwards, and the accusation is from 2025? I think they're clearly using this information for the drones while trying to convince you otherwise, because it would be extremely bad PR for them. Shame. Very shameful. We have an agreement with Venture announced last December. It is still in its very early stages, and sharing this data is not part of the agreement. Sharing this data is not part of the agreement, but if you use the data to train the model, technically you're using the data to train an AI model that will be used in the military. I hate legalese. I hate these people, they're so annoying. For rifling and scanning NR models, those scans were one compound to help train Niantic Spatial's real-world foundation models, AI systems that allow to recognize and interpret physical spaces. The models are the product of the training, not a copy of or a means of accessing the underlying scans. It doesn't matter. You're using the scans for the AI, which is what people are complaining about. There are public points of interest such as statues and fountains. Models are being used across a range of sectors to help AI understand and navigate the physical world. As part of Scopely, Pokemon Go data is not shared with Niantic Spatial. It doesn't matter, it's already too late. The model is already built on that data. If you feel any better about Niantic, as a subsidiary of Saudi government-owned Scopely, taking it there from the game is another story. I'm not being angry, I'm being so sincere right now, even though you broke my heart and killed me. What? Okay, alright. They're not lying. They're telling you the truth, and they expect you to get the wrong conclusions. Because we are not actively sharing the data, and sharing the data was not an active part of the deal. That doesn't mean they don't have the data from before. It doesn't mean they're not using the data for the training model. They are doing that by the wrong admission. I mean, if you had another reason just to hate Pokemon Go and Niantic at this point, which I wouldn't even say this is the biggest one, but still, it will be a deal breaker for some for sure. I mean, let's be real, Saudi Arabia, really? Really? Is that the kind of people you want to give your data to? Better or worse than Google? No idea. Still not good. Pretty disgusting. What do we have here? Oh, okay. This is a very funny post. This is a very funny post. These images have been going viral recently. They seem interesting to me. I read that the guy just posted this photo on the platform and deleted it right after. We have here, Big D Trump. Yeah, it seems like I'm saying he has a big dick. It's D from Donald, okay? Looking to the Hyperboreans. People are going crazy. Who are these people? Aliens? Another dimensions? What's happening here? No, it's not a school. I'm sorry, it's actually not a school. Allegedly, these are all pictures from 2018, and these individuals belong to the Norwegian King's Guard, apparently. It looks really otherworldly, I will give you that. I do like the memes though. I do like the memes, pretty funny stuff. Speaking of outer space too, I also have this thing here. A real headline from a Canadian national newspaper. Pretty disgusting stuff. Space Inc. is said to make Elon Musk the first trillionaire. It's how to properly hate him. Opinion article by Chris Gay. You cannot make this shit happen. What the fuck? My goodness. Canadian, gay, so over for you. It's really stupid. I understand people have grievances with the guy, sure. I mean, I can agree and disagree with Elon on many different things. I don't think the man is verified by any means. He clearly isn't. People think he's giga-based. He is not. He's barely based. I can agree he did pretty good stuff with Twitter being a more even playing field. I can also say that some of the functions are a little bit scuffed too, but that's a different animal. But just going around, oh, you had to hate him because, the trillionaires. I mean, the guy at least has actually created something, right? Going to space, making cars and all that. Makes sense, makes sense. I always said that his money's probably too inflated. I don't know too much about grand scale economics, as I said many times before. Hold up. Ugh. My pants are soaking wet, holy shit. Hey, be myself for one here. And there has been some strange stuff with SpaceX going public. Because allegedly, usually companies that want to go public do so with a perceived value of 4 times the base. SpaceX allegedly did that with 97 times the actual value, so that is giga inflated. I don't think SpaceX is an interesting and overall good company, but it makes you wonder if that is true. Why? Why not more money, right? Very odd, very strange. We also have here, which kinda goes back a little bit, but still, I wasn't sure where to put this article. It's gonna be here at the end with sort of stuff. 14-year-old arrested for armed robbery of kids' lemonade stand in South Boston. Not even the fucking lemonade stands, dude. Not even them. Can we stop this? There we go. Not even those are safe. 14-year-old boy has been arrested after an armed robbery at a lemonade stand in South Boston, police said. 12-year-old David Byrne and his 11-year-old sister Juliet were selling lemonade on West Neath Street Wednesday afternoon. They were approached by 2 kids wearing masks. Byrne said one of them flashed the gun in his waistband and then took Byrne's cash box. That's real. Hello, how you doing, Where's the Angel? We're getting out to speed with current events today. You want over here, he said. I'm going to take the box, and then grab it with one hand, and then he shot us the gun. Why do you have a 14-year-old kid with a gun? That's a bit odd. Been told CBS News Boston. My sister, she put her hands up, and just said, you can have it. I mean, yeah. You don't want to get shot. But after that, I was just like a little annoyed because you were 12 and 11, and you shouldn't really do that. It's an impressive way of looking at morality and law, but I mean, it's not wrong. Crocodile hurt my pets when you saved them. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but at least they were fine. That's good. And the thieves rang off with the cash box. It's not clear how much money was inside. The box was later found empty. As the police released surveillance video and photos of the 2 suspects the next day, hoping to generate the latest in the investigation. What possesses you to do something like this as a 14-year-old? My goodness. Not like this. The 14-year-old will be arraigned in Boston Juvenile Court on charges of armed robbery and unlawful possession of a firearm, police said. And sure, we have no idea how much money there was in the box. I'm gonna say, what, at best $50? And now you got yourself into huge trouble. Again, it keeps happening. These kids are completely lost. People are still asking the public to come forward with any information about the second suspect. Probably this guy, because he's more covered than this guy, I'm assuming. I'm pretty disgusted with it. They're young children, Bruce's father Dave said shortly after the robbery. It was in the middle of broad daylight. The lemonade stand drew open Friday evening, with a large crowd and Mayor Michelle Wu showing up to support the kids. Isn't Michelle Wu a bit of a strange piece of work too? I thought this many people would come, 11-year-old Juliet Byrne said. Really makes me feel happy. You know this is not the UK. They will be asking for the license and getting into bigger trouble. It's like a minute like this one, neighbor Kathleen Angoto said, what a strange last name. Probably Italian, right? This neighborhood is fantastic. The city councilor Ed Flynn said half of the money raised will be donated to a local organization working to prevent gun violence. I'm gonna be real, I don't think it's the guns. I think it's something else. It could be the culture. It could be... It could be something else. It could be difficult to explain properly. It's not the guns. It's never the guns. Then again, I don't understand how people say, oh, but, you know, there's not enough security, and I could agree to that, but that's a family issue, not guns being available to the public. Oh, what if the kid gets access to the gun? Why is the gun not being properly stored? It's a better question. Then again, as we've seen extensively with the UK government, or just European government, World War II shitty. Just leave it. Just please leave it to the government. The government will be your parent. Maybe not. Maybe I'm not a big fan of that. Call me weird, all you want. Now we have a handful of slop articles here that I thought could be interesting to end for today. We have... God damn it, dude. I couldn't believe this when I saw the article. This is really strange. Twitch streamer responds to viral cheating scandal after being caught with cat litter box camera. It gets worse than this, by the way. This sounds wild, it's about to get worse. Twitch streamer Catalina, probably known as Curtis, has responded after her ex-boyfriend, I'm not Kenneth, accused her of cheating on him with her casting. Odd. Very odd. The streamer posted a 12-minute video addressing the controversy, apologizing to her ex and supporters while also denying several claims that were spread online following Kenneth's viral video. They're kinda long, I don't think we have enough time to go through those videos. I want to start off by taking full accountability for what he did. Kathleen said, yeah, sure thing. I won't believe that. I want to start off by apologizing to the person that I hurt the most in this situation, which was my ex. The response comes days after Kenneth shared the video claiming he discovered explicit messages between Catalina and her casting after her accessing footage from a camera built into a small little box located in her bathroom. If you saw this in some sort of American show, you will believe this is way too strange to be real. But reality is nothing more strange than fiction. Catalina admitted wrongdoing in the relationship, but the Spirit reports that she had been cheating throughout the entirety of the relationship. That doesn't matter, woman. That doesn't matter. You cheated. That's a deal breaker for most people. It's a shame it's not a deal breaker for all of them. There was a rumor going around that I was cheating my entire relationship, and I've been doing this for months. Which is completely false because this is only a recent incident that had occurred, she said. Okay, you're still not good. She also denied rumors that she had been disowned by her family and claimed she had no involvement in writing a note that circulated online after the controversy. Oh, for crying out loud, come on, man. I'm gonna find it hard to believe. Kathleen accuses ex of abusive behavior. Is it really? Is it really, or is it just a convenient lie? Kathleen also made allegations against Kenneth, claiming that the pair were involved in what she described as a toxic and abusive relationship that lasted roughly 2.5 years. My ex was never saying that he paints himself out to be, she said. You can just leave the guy. If the guy was actually abusive, you can just sue him, okay? It's wrong to be abused. Hot take. She alleged that he subjected her to verbal, emotional, and physical abuse during their relationship. She claimed there were multiple occasions where he placed her in a chokehold against the wall, and also accused him of sexually assaulting her during a casual that he had been drinking. Gotta be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna press X to that one. It could be real. It could be real. But it just seems it's too convenient for her to say something like this. See, the man was evil all along, so I am completely justified. No. 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 If these are false accusations, I hope the guy sues. I'm gonna be honest. She says she has videos, photographs, letters, and messages to support her allegations. Kathleen also... Why didn't you sue then? It should be a very easy case. What the fuck is wrong with you, woman? Kathleen also revealed she had been involuntarily admitted to a mental health facility after being considered a danger to herself. She says she has struggled with depression and claims she has attempted to take her own life multiple times in recent weeks. Kathleen says she plans to seek professional help and eventually return to streaming. I don't want to come back, she said. And I want to be able to use my platform to raise awareness for mental health. Ah, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up! Oh my god, these people are absolutely fucking insane, man. What the hell? Not like this, dude. Not like this. Not a single thought going on that head of hers. Insane behavior. It's also very, very odd. Very, very strange. How the article doesn't focus at all in the incest part. What do you mean you were fucking your cousin? That is not normal behavior. On both sides, mind you. What the hell? Very strange. Very odd. I don't think the character is trying to be apologetic about something like that, but shit, you never know. There's also this article, a little bit depressing, but a bit odd. I think I covered this before. YouTuber who stabbed creator for reacting her on stream sentenced to 18 months in prison. This is the one I was thinking about. It's fine. Oh, South Korea. A female YouTuber who stabbed a male creator after he reacted her during a live stream has been sentenced to 18 months in prison. Ah, you thought it was gonna be a man, didn't you? No, it was a woman. The woman, identified only as A, was convicted of a special injury after attacking a male internet broadcaster in Bucheon, Gyeonggi Province, South Korea. According to Gyeonggi, the incident happened around 2:50 AM September 20th, 2025, inside a commercial building in Wonmigu. Korean names are very silly. The victim, identified only as B, was broadcasting online at the time of the attack. The stabbing itself was reportedly not shown on the stream, but the broadcast captured A swearing and B reacting in pain after being wounded. Investigators found that the female YouTuber believed she and the creator were in a romantic relationship, and became angry after he denied they were together. Okay, maybe don't get yourself a Korean woman. They don't seem to be alright in the head either. Not all of them. YouTuber's original sentence was reduced on appeal. A was originally sentenced to 2.5 years in prison, but the Incheon District Court's Criminal Appeals Division reduced the sentence to 1.5 years during an appeal hearing on June 10th. The court said the victim was still complaining of after effects and wanted her to be punished severely. I mean, getting stabbed is not nice. We started today with stabbings, you know? Not good. Not a good thing to happen to you. Not an insane thing to say. We don't know where the guy was stabbed either. It was potentially not life-threatening, which is nice, but still. Also noted the woman had previously been sent to family court over a similar special injury case. Oh, look at that. Speaking of Korea. However, the court said she had admitted to the crime and appeared to have acted impulsively. Judges also considered that she deposited 25 million won for the victim, and that his wounds had healed without major after effects. The female YouTuber stabbed the man several times in the abdomen with a dangerous object, but the victim was able to block the attack and was not considered to have been in serious life-threatening danger. That's really scary, what the fuck? Look, I know I said this before and I will say it again. Extremely careful if you want to do IRL content, okay? They will get you. That's not nice. This incident is only the first time Korean streamers have been stabbed. Back in 2024, Korean YouTuber who stabbed his rival on stream bowed and clapped when a judge handed him a life sentence. And one case from 2025, the Korean streamer was found dead and a VIP viewer was arrested for her murder after arguing with her about donating tens of thousands of dollars. We covered that one. Also very scary. People just willy-nilly show not only themselves on the internet, but showcase their current location. I don't know how to tell you this, but there's a lot of dangerous people out there. And you know what happens with dangerous people? They might get your ass, and they might kill you. Try to protect yourself a little bit, okay? Just a little bit. Yeah, just a tiny little bit. I think that's reasonable. What do we have here? More slapper. I think it was really interesting. I don't think it's actually as cool as it's painted in the article title. Scientists are using Gundam Beam Saber inspired tank that could grow crops in space. I bet it's not this cool, but I do like space. Japanese scientists are turning one of Gundam's most iconic weapons into real-life technology that could help grow crops on the moon. For anyone familiar with Gundam, it's one of Japan's biggest sci-fi franchises and follows giant humanoid machines. The current beam sabers, clone blade-like weapons similar to lightsabers, powered by fictional futuristic technology. Well, now a team of scientists is working on making those beam sabers a reality, using them as inspiration to helpfully grow plants on the moon using plasma. As originally reported by Automaton, the project is led by Professor Toshiro Kaneko. Lemons. A long-time Gundam fan, he has previously worked on multiple Gundam-related science initiatives, including the book Monster Gundam Universal Century vs. Modern Science, which explores how realistic some of the franchise's technology might be in the real world. Can we get super robots? That'd be cool! Rather than creating destructive energy blades, though, Kaneko's team is using beam saber-inspired plasma to help crops grow. Essentially, in Gundam, beam sabers are weapons based on high-energy Inavsky particle plasma. In our world, plasma doesn't quite work in the same way, but the scientists have utilized a similar design to create something called the nitrogen pentoxide, which could encourage rice growth. He also found that the same approach strengthened the natural immune system of failed cress plants, making them more resistant to disease and pests. Pretty cool. Yes, and that, they are now testing whether similar technology can benefit the strawberries using a plasma generating device powered by solar cells. Oh! Yeah, that's pretty good. That'll be self-sufficient on the moon. Going to Kaneko. Every single time we say that name. Oh, lemons! Hidden plasma generating devices directly on the moon could eliminate the need to transport huge amounts of fertilizer from Earth, dramatically cutting costs for future lunar settlements. Instead of shipping supplies across space, astronauts could potentially create what they need on site using locally available systems powered by solar energy. That'd be fucking huge. As we know, transportation is usually a big hurdle for anything like this, and that's very, very good. It's interesting to see an actual moon settlement in my lifetime. I don't know if that's gonna happen though, but it'd be cool. I don't talking about the space too much, but I think it's very, very interesting. The research was even showcased at last year's Osaka Expo as part of the Gundam Nest Future Pavilion, under the title Space Agriculture Using the Beam Saber, highlighting how ideas from one of anime's most famous franchises could eventually play a role in humanity's future beyond Earth. Can we get super robots? That'd be hilarious. That'd be hilarious. I do like super robots as a concept. Never got into those types of anime though, not quite sure why. Very odd. Very odd. Hold up. There you go. And I guess we can finish for today with a mission of an article. We're not gonna go through it because I'm tapping out. I'm gonna be honest, but it's pretty fucking funny. This is June 11th, 2026. Niche gamer. Opinion: PlayStation's Japanese identity is slowly slipping away. Slowly slipping away. Where have you been? This has been happening for about a decade, if not more. They mentioned Kingdom Hearts 4, and sure, Kingdom Hearts 4 looks more realistic than anime, whatever. Persona 6, Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy, Resident Evil and Persona 6. It's nothing new. They have been closing down a lot of Japanese stuff, and haven't they moved mostly to California? How the fuck are you surprised about this, man? The memes on Twitter have been hilarious. Oh, look at this. The slowpoke reporting. Not wrong. Oh, come on, man. What are you doing? What the fuck is wrong with you? Very odd. Very odd. Especially because it's from Niche Gamer. If it was from a different publication, maybe I could understand it, right? Okay, these people are oblivious to reality. Very strange. But niche gamer knows about the fuck is going on, you know? Very strange. Maybe a new guy. Even Katic? I haven't seen the name before, I don't think. I shouldn't be surprised. That doesn't look like a Prussian guy. Maybe I was wrong all along. Very odd. Very strange for sure. Anyway. I guess time for me to get the fuck out of here. I'm running out of gas. And I'm running out of water. It's probably for the best. What's the plan for next week? It's a good question. Right now I'm assuming more Pokemon Diamond on Monday, which is nice. We'll do a late anniversary celebration on Thursday, and Wednesday we'll see. Maybe we'll start a short game. Maybe we'll do some sort of one-off. It's too soon to decide. I've been thinking of a couple of different things. I will make the decision later today or tomorrow. Schedule will be up later tomorrow as usual, so fret not. Oh. Ah, shit. I hope I can make the bother stuff with a lot of trouble. It's been rough. Nothing that I did yesterday actually worked. I think I learned a little bit about the Unity. Not enough. It's not enough. I could be a little bit too silly. Not working. Shit isn't working, man. It's fine. If it doesn't work, it's whatever. I may need to do it as a second model and fuck around with model swapping. Not ideal, but okay. It's a solution if nothing else works. But yeah, that's gonna be it. So thank you for coming. Hope you guys have fun. We'll come back on Monday with more Pokemon Diamond. I hope we can get more progression. I got a Cranidos. It was actually really difficult to get a good Cranidos. Getting good speed AVs and a good nature for speed. It took me many resets. Still not perfect, but it has high attack, high speed. We don't need anything else. It has really low special defense. It's a bit scary. But it's fine. Let's see if we can get a couple of badges. That'd be pretty nice. So yeah, that's a sketch of the plan. Until then, you know the rules. People keep lying to you. People keep lying to everybody. People keep trying to incite conflict. And sometimes you have to admit that these conflicts are inevitable. But no matter what you do, you have to keep yourself safe. Because if you don't, what the fuck are you doing? And take care.